of the TRFM Gippsland League. Today we are live at the Traralgon Showgrounds. It is Traralgon taking on the Tigers. As we said in the pre-game, it is one of country Victoria's best rivalries going around, crosstown neighbours, and we are looking forward to a cracking game of football, as it always is. The Maroons, they're back on the winners list in a big way last week. The experienced players of Hall and Collison, Stockdale just said, that's it, we've had enough, and we're getting back on the winners list, and that's what they did. While for the Tigers, well, their injury run continues. They lose 2 more to injury. They get another first gamer that comes into the side, another under-18 player in the name of Damien Howe, and have they got some run and enthusiasm to get over the top of this experienced Maroon side. It all shapes up as a big clash in round 8 of the TRFM Gippsland League. It's great to have your company. My name's Daryl Cooling, and joining me is my co-caller. His name is Rob Popplestone, the Marvel here from Traralgon. Poppy, good afternoon to you.
Done it again after a great build-up. I'm just starting to get renowned for that, aren't I?
Yep.
You know what, I was actually a bit distracted because as you mentioned the name, first gamer Damien Howe, of course I used to play, well not of course, but I used to play footy with his father Wayne, who I see down in the crowd nervously walking up and down the grandstand side. Wayne Howe was a terrific junior player, a very good senior player as well, and it's good to see blokes, you know, with their sons coming through the ranks, and it's just another element of intrigue about this Morwell side that's been forced to try some young blood in the face of some injury woes in the last month or so.
Absolutely, of course. The special comments this afternoon is from our very special friend. His name is Nick Boxer Lacchino. Boxer, good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon, Daryl, Poppy and PC. Looking forward to it, Daryl. As you mentioned, it is a great rivalry, the crosstown rivals. It's great to see that Poppy talked about himself straight away in the first 30 seconds.
No time whatsoever.
So I look forward to the most is that hopefully Poppy will last the afternoon. So hopefully all goes well with your back and your sickness and your illness and everything else. And looking forward to a solid afternoon with you.
Well, the number one stats man in the business is Paul Carter. He's to my right. He's my right-hand man. All right, Paul Carter, great to have you on board once again, mate.
Good on you, Daryl, thank you. And boys and listeners, and we're really looking forward to a great game. They always turn it on no matter where they are on the ladder, whether they're up at the top like they were in the 1960s and 80s, or whether they're 8th and 9th today. They're certainly very good teams for teams that are sitting low on the ladder, and they're probably not at the level where you would expect them to be. So this will be a great game. Both teams sitting on those 2 wins. This will be an important one.
Who are we following today with the key stats? So it is all thanks to Gippsland Isuzu. Don't forget, adventure has never looked so good. Thanks to Gippsland Isuzu Utes. Don't worry, be happy sale. Get the top of the range 4x4 Isuzu Ute and MUX 7-seat for only $52,990. Drive away thanks to Gippsland Isuzu Ute at Princess Highway, Traralgon, LMCT 10285.
Well, like last year, Traralgon have struggled with their rucksmen. They've had injuries to their ruckman last year and this year. We believe Dylan LaPraise will probably be taken out of centre half forward and used on ball. I think he did that job last week. He'll be up against big Isaac Abbas and Dan Musil, who pretty much shared the load last week against Druin, so that'll be interesting to see whether that's the way they go again today. Of the Traralgon players we're following are Connor Ambler, Michael Jacobson, Troy Forrest, Jackson Hall, Chris Thuring, Mark Collison, Jackson McMahon and Hayden Hector. Thuring, by the way, I think has been in their best 6 on all but one occasion this year. A great pickup for Traralgon this year. The Morwell players, Anthony Rosato, and we're really looking forward to seeing 2 hard nuts in Rosato and Mark Collison do battle and see if there's a ball between them and they're about 3 metres apart each, and how hard they hit when they go in. They'll certainly hold nothing back. Josh Hecker, Coy Giath, Joel Suter, Tyler Hillier, Dan Musil, Judah Leake and Tom Cale are the other Morwell players we're following.
That is, of course, all thanks to Gippsland Isuzu Ute. They're at Princess Highway in Traralgon. Boxy, you've been down on the ground. You walked across it a little bit earlier. And when it comes to walls, floors and windows, Carpet Country have Gippsland covered. They're in Traralgon, Sale and Hayfield. They've got carpet, timber floor, tiles and blinds. Quality products, installations and service. The largest range in Gippsland. And this ground looks like an absolute carpet out there today. Thanks to Carpet Country. Boxer, what you tell for us?
It was immaculate out there as well. There's not a breath of wind as well. It's probably the first game we've done in a couple of months where it hasn't been a factor. The wind hasn't been played a major factor in the game as well. The middle of the ground, the grass is really starting to come through that pitch area as well. So while it wasn't as hard as it was against Maui, Paul?
You know what'll happen, Boxer? They'll still play on the other side of the ground.
We're looking forward to them to play on this side of the ground. I'm telling you that now. But no, it's they couldn't ask for perfect, more better conditions what they have today, Daryl.
Well, Traralgon are just in their huddle. The Tigers have already rolled out. It looks like they're going to play a 4-man forward line for the Tigers, possibly having an extra one down back. It looks to be that way. Maybe even 2 down back as well. We'll soon find out, as now maybe Callum Hutchison in his second game had just got a little bit distracted on which end they were kicking.
Do you think that's because of the fact that he's probably recognised their first quarters have been one of their weaknesses and that they're just going to try to limit the damage?
No, I just think Callum Hutchison got it wrong.
Oh.
He's now made his way down into the forward line and he's found his way down there.
Some feelings in this game also, as the big fella Abbas made his way down to full forward. Broadbent gave him one to go along with. They fronted each other, had a few jabs, and then kept on moving. So it's not what you see from either of those players normally. But this is not a normal game. It's a big rivalry, and we're only seconds away, boys.
Yeah, we are. In the middle for the Tigers will be big Dan Musil, who will take the ruck duties as opposed to Abbas. Of course, the midfielders will be Giath, Rosado, and Snyder goes into the middle. Might be a run-with role, you'd think, there on Collison, who he's gone to. And the winger on the far side now becomes a midfielder as well. It's so close. You've got Jacobson for the Maroons, and you've got Hecker out there for the Tigers. In the middle for the Maroons, Poppy, obviously Colo's in there.
Colo's in there. Is it Musto that might have the role on Rosado?
Yep.
Interesting contest, that one too, and I'm hoping that he runs with Rosado all day. Early signs are that he might.
Well, big tap down there by Musil. Collison was in hard, couldn't get a handball away. At ground level, looked to be Williams. The umpire had no other opportunity but to do this one again.
Darryl, both teams are playing a spare. Daniel Siddle, and they've got Broadbent for Traralgon.
Well, Musil tap went towards Rosado. A quick, strong tackle there against Snyder. It was to Jackson McMahon, who wins the free kick in the middle of the ground for the Maroons. He looks lateral, comes to the near side. The target out here, and looks to be, is it Barnes? He chips it over the top. The kick was partially smothered. Jackson Hall missed it. Now Scott has to go. Handballs out to Hutchison. Gave it to Suter. He sold one candy, then lost the football as Jackson McMahon was the one who got the free kick. And kicks it quickly under pressure. Got hit by Abbas. The ball gets towards half forward. It was Giath who lost the football. At ground level, working hard. There is Musto. He gets the ball out. Collison's there. And Rosado tackled him strongly, Poppy. And now Rosado gets the free kick.
And play on's the call. Good work, Morwell. From half back to half forward, the blink of an eye, Abbas the target. Read it beautifully. Took a strong mark. Slips like for a big man. 6'7" or 8", I'd reckon.
And
the kick off the boot is a bit poor, but it's a 50 as the Traralgon player in Gavin Stevenson went over the mark, and Abbas, who was searching for it inside that 50, the kick was poor, will get a second chance from the top of the square, and a bit of a dream start for the Tigers, the visitors, through to the big man in Isaac Abbas, who kicked this one through for Morwell from the top of the square.
I'm not marking it down, Poppy.
No, he's good enough, this bloke, isn't he? Isaac Abbas, top of the square, bang, unless the Traralgon player got a finger on it, it's straight through if you don't mind. First blood, Morwell, good start for the visitors.
It was a great start there by the Tigers. One thing that's a great sign too, they're all going after Abbas at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Abbas last week was absolutely fantastic. Best game he's played for the year for the Tigers, and he started the game off that way again today.
So first score on the Harvey Norman Computers Gippsland scoreboard comes at the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Morwell 1 goal straight, 6. Traralgon yet to score. And for those at the ground, Ben Johnson is number 43, not number 31.
So they'll miss Cameron today. Cameron would have been a perfect match, you'd think, for Abbas, especially when Abbas played forward. But anyway, the ball back in the centre of the oval. Whiteack, I think, was beaten to it by Musil. Traralgon will get the breakthrough. Collison goes searching for a teammate, finds one. Dupreez gets it back. He's linked up beautifully, and on the end of the link was Jackson Hall. Kicks grandstand side, races on, searching for Troy Forrest, who we know has been busy in previous weeks, but he couldn't beat the boundary on that occasion. There'll be a boundary throw in right half forward flank, grandstand side, with the Maroons, the home team, kicking to the Loy-Yang end of the Traralgon Rec Reserve.
They trail by 6 points. The ball comes to the ground. Good work, heavy work by Musto. That's the second time we've seen that. A quick little handball from Williams out towards Little. He ran into a Charles tackle. Now it's close to the boundary line, right in front of those past premiership players here at Traralgon this afternoon. And again, we'll see the ball thrown in 3 minutes in. The Tigers are 1 straight 6. Traralgon yet to score.
So the ruck work, Musil. It'll be up against White Oak. White Oak gets the touch. Maybe Musil. In fact, it was. He was up against Broadbent. Quick kick by Rosado. He's been busy early minutes. You'd expect that to be the case. He He's done that in previous weeks. It's cut off, though, at the pass. Nicely done by McMahon. He's been good. Finds Collison, dropping the ball. He was held without it in the end, and he gets a free kick for a push in the back. He was simply in front, and these tight, tough games, that's the position to be in, and he's been around long enough to know exactly what he needs to do. The kick short, wasn't 10, the umpire says. So it goes to McMahon, back to Collison, draws the player, gives off to Little. Connor Little, short kick. Can he find a teammate? Well, he could, but not being able to handle it was Riley Laprise. He drops what maybe he should have taken. Stolen, if you don't mind, by Jayath, who runs 10, kicks 40, and it's Nick Wilson all by himself. The big fella for Morwell plays on quickly around the body, kicks to the advantage of Abbas, but he's got 3 players closing on him quickly. A kick around the body, goes across the face of goals and out of play. It was a courageous attempt, but he keeps the ball importantly inside Morwell's forward 50.
Boys, do you reckon Wilson just slow to hold on to it?
Had to hold on.
It was 1 on 5, but they've got the ball to the boundary line, so a good result for the Tigers. But Thuring was there for the Maroons, a clearing kick. He's such a neat kick of the football, and he spotted up Little. He'll square it up.
Dangerous.
Oh, it's good enough, though. Back to the last line, and Yench marks it. Handballs over the top. Connor Ambler provided the run. He comes back onto that right foot. Low kick. Is it just the 15 to Jackson Hall? And the Tigers' press has been pretty good. They've hemmed the Maroons in their defensive forward 50. They're allowing them just to do the short kicks, waiting for the long turnover. Ambler now has it 30 metres in his defensive 50.
So he'll go towards the outer side. And I tell you what, Traralgon in weeks gone by have actually given it up here with poor disposal at times. They're under pressure now. Jackson Hall's good enough to get out of it. He is.
Good run.
They've linked up beautifully, and now they've got a little bit of room to wiggle from left half back to left half forward. It's cut off nicely by Tommy Cale, and he'll turn defence into attack by finding Rosado, centre of the square here at Traralgon, with Morwell leading by 1 straight goal. He dances around one, held to the tad too long. The kick was poor, compliments of pressure, and Traralgon take the resultant free kick through Benny Johnson.
So he clears it out wide. Jacobson with the bright orange boots on the far side came inboard, gave it to Musto. Quick handle to Collison. He tried to get it back. Now he has to go do the hard work. Hillier, ground level, goes backwards nicely by foot and found Hecker, who can get it out wide. Judah Leake presented for him, just kicks it on the top of Leake's head though. It allowed the defence to come in through Broadbent to spoil. Good work there, was it by Hillier? His kick was partially smothered. It's going to come back. Johnson, left foot into the side forward 50. Lopez flew, caused the pack. So, it was a big ruckman down there in Musil who got flattened and the ball goes over. We've got a boundary throw in right on the 55-metre mark around from Traralgon's goal. We're 6 minutes in, the Tigers lead by 6 points.
And forward 50's Paul Carter, early stage, first quarter.
It's 2 to Morwell, and that's Traralgon's first one.
They've just broken, I reckon, by millimetres. You're a good man, you're right on the ball. Traralgon haven't threatened the goals, but they've just threatened the forward 50 for the first time. Now through Ambler, they try to find another way forward, and they do through Collison. This is a deep penetration, and a look for Laprise. Couldn't take the mark. Butters up with a second effort. Can he find a teammate? Needs to pick it up firstly. The pressure's too much for him. A kick around the body by Traralgon's Cameron Whiteoak. Lands within 5 metres of goals, but Rosado, as he does so often, in fact, you might find it's Hecker, takes a good strong mark. And the reason I know it's Hecker, he's half the size of Rosado.
Kicks it out wide. Over the top was Cale, who read it nicely. Runs out of his defensive 50. Chips it to the wing. It's a wrong kick, though. It went to the wrong side of Abbas, who led towards the boundary line. And Jackson Hall was able to swoop on it for Gippsland Isuzu Ute. He's been a great performer in this opening 7 minutes of play. So's this man. Musto lowers the eyes. Spears the kick, turnover. And Maxie Linton was the one who just waited for it. Took it on the chest and got it out wide to Musil.
He did. Morwell pressing back nicely as Traralgon go forward, and they do it nicely again through Cody McDonald. He was busy last week, but that kick's poor. His first possession of the day wasn't what it should have been. They went searching to give the ball back to him. He's got the pace to win the race to get the ball first, but he's beaten to it by the boundary. And there'll be a boundary throw in nearing the intersection, forward 50 and boundary. Traralgon into attack and trailing by 1 goal. We've played nearly 8 minutes first quarter.
What Traralgon are doing really well, they're playing their spare really well. Jackson Hall, the best probably intercept mark in the competition. Morwell's spare player has to be just as good.
Who is that at the moment? Do you know that one, Box?
At the moment, I think it's Daniel Siddle at the moment, but I would actually free up and maybe put Cale as a spare, I reckon.
Well, I think they've actually just done that, and because Siddle takes that bigger type of target, doesn't he? So you're right, you're spot on the ball there, Boxer. Inside 50s, Paul, we've obviously alluded to this a little bit.
Now Traralgon 3 to Morwell 2.
Oh, well, it is a 6-point margin in favour of the Tigers. 8.5 minutes gone. The stoppage at half forward for the Maroons. A quick kick goes inside their forward 50. There's Cale, the loose man. He just blazes away, though, and Thuring will go back and mark it on the wing. He played on quickly. Over to Jacobson. Left foot kick goes back inside. Wide Oak presents. At his toes was quite good. Just left it behind the last minute. Leak goes in to win it for the Tigers, looking for the boundary line. But he was wrapped up in a good tackle, and it was a low-press tackle it was. We've got a stoppage 48 metres around from the Traralgon's goal.
So Collison, who plays in the middle, is now that player up forward now. A little bit Dustin Martin-like, if you like a comparison. A quick kick forward out of defence, lands in the hands of Connor Little for Traralgon. So there's that turnover by Morwell. He'll kick to the advantage and looks for that man we spoke of. Collison got front of the pack, took a strong mark, if you don't mind, and he's done it very, very nicely.
Collo was calling for that for about 5 minutes. He just knew the mismatch was on. The strength against Tommy Cale wasn't there. One-on-one, it gets a bit dangerous going inside forward 50, and Collo in the end, well, it was just reward because he worked hard to get this one.
And what it was too, Daryl, it's the fact that the Traralgon set up their press really well. They're prepared to actually come off their man. They left Nick down the back here, Nick Wilson down the back on his own. They pressed that line through.
And Collo has sprayed it. So the Tiger boys behind the goals at the Loyang end. Certainly let Mark Collison know about that one. A minor score, Paul Carter.
Traralgon 1 behind 1 point. Morwell 1 goal straight 6. We've played 10 minutes, and that's 6 inside 50s for Traralgon's first score.
Well, that contest between Rosado and Collison and who might have the big impact is probably shared at this early stage. Both players been active, but they're the sort of possessions you really need to make the most of. I mean, a set kick for goal 20 metres out directly in front when you're as experienced as Collo, he'd be disappointed with that result, as would most of the Traralgon fans. Morwell to bring the ball back into play, long kick. They go searching for Musil, goes over that player's head. At the bottom of the pack, it's Adam Yench, who was the first player there. Musil cuts it off, gives ground, keeps possession. Nice smother, gets a second chance at it, and the Tigers are out of trouble momentarily.
Well, Linton left foot torpedo went 14 metres. It eventually got in the hands of Abbas, who gave it to Giath. Now over the top, it goes in the way of Williams. It goes backwards. Giath was there, nearly picked off another one. Hector, under pressure. And Yench had a fresh airy.
Oh, out the full.
And it's been called out of bounds on the full. So Kennedy for the Tigers will be the recipient of the free kick.
Must have got a shoelace to it.
Very, very close as the McGivney just gives it back, the coach there. As Kennedy, risky kick, but it's a nice one. Came off. Gave it to Suda, handball across to Hillier, drives it inside forward 50. Wilson's got to get the target. No, great work by that loose man in Jackson Hall. Boxer, we're going to change things yet.
Yeah, I think Nicky has to come up to him and make it at least a one-on-one contest.
And I think too, Nick needs to make sure that if we're going to cut in front of him, they know about it as well. Needs to hit the contest harder than that. Traralgon half-back flank, but under pressure. Nice pressure applied by Tyler Hillier, and that opens the door for his teammate in, I reckon, Suda gave it, goes looking for Rosado, got one hand to it, couldn't quite reel it in, and now under pressure for Traralgon is Hayden Hector.
Good
taking to the ground, ball and all, play on is the call, 45 metres from Morwell's goals.
I'll just quickly do around the grounds too in the AFL. Carlton, they take on the Brisbane Lions, and it's still going to be a dim afternoon for the Blues at the moment. It's halfway through the second quarter. The Brisbane Lions 40, they lead the Carlton only 9.
Well, Rosado from that stoppage was great, gave it back to Kennedy, who gave it to... this was the youngster there in Howe, gave it high, kick inside forward 50. No one can mark it. There's that man, Jackson Hall, again for the Maroons, who clears it out. It's going to come back. Because there's Morwell's loose man in Tommy Cale. It's a real battle between those loose men at the minute.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They're actually both playing a very disciplined style of footy, but they just can't break through. They'll try again through Musil. He'll come laterally, grandstand side. Can he find a winner here? He can. It's his teammate in Josh Scott. From centre wing, grandstand side. Kick wasn't great. Went over the pack of players. McMahon, he's been busy early. Breaks the pack, runs 10, kicks 35. Collison on the lead, pinpoint perfect. His kick needs to be the same. Can he find full forward? The player I speak of was Jacobson. In fact, it was Stockdale. He couldn't find that player. Right foot kick by Stockdale. Just pushed it right of goals. It's their second score of the afternoon. It's their second behind of the afternoon, Paul Carter.
And that's on the Monticello's scoreboard, and that's 2 behinds, 2 points to Traralgon, and Morwell 1 goal straight 6, 13 and a half minutes played.
Well, out of fullback, it lands in the hands of Snyder. As Suda presents down the middle, it's going to be a perfect kick that isn't. It's going to fall over the back. It might be fortuitous for the Tigers. Rosado gave it out there to Hillier. He squared the kick out wide to Musil, who has a little bit of space. Right foot kick towards half forward to Bass. Gets high, doesn't quite mark it. Now he has to do some groundwork, and Musto's out there as well. Both equally as strong as each other, and we'll have a boundary throw in now 60 metres around from the Tigers' goal.
I'd love to see Hecker forward now. They're getting the ball inside 50. They're just losing that little bit of spark inside, and Hecker did that last week really well. I think maybe Hecker goes forward just to give him that little bit of bite.
So they're 65 metres from goals, the Morwell side. Abbas, I think, got the tap, went searching for a rover or on ball. I couldn't find a player coming through the pack. Was Laprise Dillon type. Edged it forward to the advantage of his teammate in Hayden Hector. He's been busy, and now Stockdale on the end of it. Left foot kick round the body, offline out of play in the full. They're burning a couple of opportunities, the Maroons. We've played 14 and a half minutes of this first quarter. They trail by 4 points, courtesy of two behinds to Morwell's one straight goal. And playing on quickly for Morwell, but being asked to come back was Jamie Jacobson.
For Gippsland, Azusa Ute, sorry, Poppy. Key stats early.
Mark Collison, 6 touches. Jackson Hall, 7 for Traralgon.
For the Tigers?
For the Tigers, Tyler Hillier, Dan Musil, 5 each, and Anthony Rosado also 5.
Jacobson was the one who kicked out for that free kick and lands in the hand of the ruckman Musil, who chipped it over the top to the half-back flank area where Rosado marks. He wants to come lateral. There's no option, so he kicks it down the line, and the smallest player on the field will be the target, and that was Hutchison. It got over the back now. Giath, quick hands to Hillier. He's got some toe, left and right, kicks it to the open space. McDonald will go back and mark on his chest, and he plays on quickly to the pocket. It's a high, shocking kick. Hutchison did well at ground level. I'm not sure that should have been the option. Hillier has to put some tackling pressure on. Kennedy was there. They handball out the back. Now they've got some space. Rosado to Suda. Snap around the body. He's not going to make the distance. Good spoil there from the defender in Stevenson of the Maroons. We're going to boundary throw in as the Tigers lead it by 4 points at the 15.5-minute mark.
The second smallest player went to the smallest player on the ground, and with the worst kick you could actually imagine for the smallest player on the ground.
And twice the composer of just looking for options, and they're young kids, both of them.
So Traralgon now under pressure as Morwell try to find a way through. They can't. Nicely taken. It was stolen, in fact, by Mitchy Musto. Comes grandstand side the ball now. The kick, I'm not sure who they're looking for, but they found a player they probably weren't. That's Tommy Cale. He couldn't pick it up, but Campbell could. His handball forward went to the arms of Schneider. He gave it off to McDonald, whose kick inside forward 50 before wasn't great, and that kick wasn't much better, unfortunately, because Gavin Stevenson takes the mark inside defensive 50 in front of the scoreboard that reads Morwell in front by 4 points.
We looked for Forrester. McDonald got a hand on it. White Oak gets around one. Now left foot kick to no one. Siddle's got the front spot. Comes off his shin. Good work by Jacobson. That's from the Maroons. We've got two out there this afternoon. They're all opposition teams. And Forrest had his kick smothered by Noblet. We're going to boundary and throw in right in front of us here at the Traralgon Showground. 16.5 minutes. It's been an arm wrestle. Morwell, 1 straight 6. The Tigers 2 behinds.
So Musil now to do the work in front of the pack. Well, I reckon it was taken out the back on that occasion by Big Will Broadbent. Suitors at the base of the pack, so's Rosado. He's taken off the ball dispossessed. Play on's the call, and as a result, Traralgon edge forward. Laprise, they need to go forward now. They've got some room to move. They have. Can they mark the ball? They cannot. Nicely done by Maxie Linton. He was in the right spot, couldn't take the mark. The big man in Abbas handballed it off. They're under pressure now,
well Jacobson.
But Jacobson at the bottom of the pack put his body on the line and stopped the surge forward. And now Patrick Charles for Morwell tries to ease the pressure. Rosado lays a diving tackle and stopped a certain shot on goals. But they're going to have another dip through Laprise. His left foot kick tumbles back to Morwell, and it falls in the arms of Hillier, who now kicks long, and Morwell have turned defence into attack. Bang, just like that.
Yeah, it was a good kick because Kennedy was there. Then he kicked it to Musil, who's got beautiful hands. Now where's the target? Wilson provides a couple, but he decides to square it up, and they can get it to the near side. And Bass had it in the middle of the ground, and that nearly should be 50, Boxer.
That was 50 every day of the week.
Stepped over the mark, you think? Gave out to the wing where Noblet had it. Now he just puts it out in the front of Giath, who marks in front of his eyes. Half forward flank. The run and draw will be on here, and he gave it to Noblet, who ran on. Left foot kick, high it goes, and again it goes to Callum Hutchison, who's about 4 foot, and he had 2 on him. And of course Lopez was able to take the easy mark in his defensive 50. Now they get it out there, defensive 50 from Jacobson.
So Jacobson, recipient of a kick from Hector, and now they're around centre wing right in front of our TRFM commentary position. Riley Laprise on this occasion fought hard. It's 2-on-2, but the boundary beats all four. So there'll be a boundary throw-in.
Rightio, Boxer.
18 and 3/4 minutes.
What are we doing? Kicking inside forward 50.
I just can't. I'm still shaking my head. We've got
both sides.
Yeah, I think we just wasted. I do like the fact they got Stockdale forward, but they're just wasting that opportunity, and they're not kicking it to the biggest bloke down forward in Wilson.
Well, the game's being played between the two 50 arcs at the moment. That's all right. That's pretty clean in between the 50s.
Well, Musil now has gone forward as well. I think he's a better option than Wilson. Certainly when the ball hits the ground, Wilson's starting speed is slow, to be quite frank, and you can expose that, but they're not even going to him.
They're not even using him at all.
So the Tigers have got the extra one at this contest, which is happening right on the wing in front of us, while Traralgon will just happy to leave their loose one across half forward. So I guess this is an advantage for Traralgon. Now they roll it back. Cale is the loose one back at the moment. So another stoppage. 20 minutes have gone. It is 1 straight 6, the Tigers, 2 points. So Bass got high in that ruck work. Collison worked hard from the ground level. Chip kick over the top. Linton on his own will take the mark. And probably lucky he slipped over. He went to come inboard on the 45 and there was no one really there. He goes to Howe, who handballed back to Linton. Now the kick. Nice one. This time found Giath. He's got to switch on if he can get it to the far side. It hangs in the air a long time. It was a big punch by Gordian, and they're away. Lee Stockdale kicks it to the hot spot. No one there again.
Wow.
And kicking inside forward 50 from both sides today is deplorable.
It is. So now Morwell will get another chance. Josh Hecker from defensive 50 comes straight down the guts. Guess what? Kick was poor. Get used to us saying that for a few times today. Collison, and he gives it maybe to the most busiest player in the field in Ball comes kick. Grandstand side, a nice kick as you heard. Connor Ambler on the end of it, threatening forward 50. Can he find a gap? He can, but he can't find a teammate. The kick, guess what? Hit the deck, and under pressure, the kick forward lands in the arms of a delighted Jamie Jacobson, and he'll take the kick forward from
dear.
Defence. Guess what? His kick was poor too. I'm not joking. I reckon this is the worst display of field kicking I've seen in a while.
They talk about a comedy of errors, but this isn't funny.
No.
So let's see if Connor Ambler, after all those poor disposals, can be accurate. 45-degree angle kick from 40 metres out.
Yeah, just a quick one. We've got Joel Suter's gone up into the rooms too, guys. I'll keep an eye on that one there too. There could be an injury there.
So Ambler will kick from 40, runs right, and guess what? That's where the ball goes. Pretty basic stuff, boys. Kicks through for a minor score. Traralgon 3 points. And Morwell 1 goal.
That's on the Monticello's scoreboard at the 21.5-minute mark of the first quarter.
I'll tell you what is interesting, because you might be thinking that it's windy conditions, it's wet conditions. It is beautiful conditions. There's not a breath of wind. The sun is shining. The ground's in great conditions, yet field kicking at the moment is pretty poor. Outside 50 it goes now, back in for the Maroons. Round the body, there goes Gordian, kicks to a hot spot. This is dangerous. Good work by Cale, read it nicely. Handball out in the front of Linton, had to bend down and pick it up. Did so to Leake, who just blazes, gets it on the top of Howe's head. It's 1-on-1. Williams does well, took on one tackler, gave a handball off to Lee Stockdale. His kick is beautiful, and at the top of the 50 finds Hector. And Hayden Hector now will pass it off, and all on his own is Connor Ambler, who again, only 30 seconds ago, had exactly the same shot. Has he learnt his lesson, boys?
Well, let's see. Last time he ran right, the ball goes right. You just need to run at goal, point your toe, that's it. It's really simple stuff.
Probably.
But it's really simple stuff, boys, isn't it?
Well, let's have a look where he runs. This will be the key. As Poppy just described, he comes in from 50, goes to about 48, runs to the right a little bit, points the toe, and guess what? It's gone in the same spot it did 30 seconds ago.
He just went right, boys. I don't get it. I mean, I'm happy to go down at quarter time and just tell the boys, give them some basics. But, wow, that's disappointing stuff.
Monticello scoreboard, Morwell 6, Traralgon 4.
Off they go now. Sorry, boys. Morwell through Hillier from half-back flank, kicks to open space. Guess what? That space turns into Maroon players. And Michael Jacobson at the bottom of the pack was the first player there. He fed it off to Connor Little, left-foot kick. Well, you wouldn't guess it, would you? Musil doesn't play for his side, and I reckon these colours are different enough for you to realise that they're not on your side. But there's been at least 12.5 times so far that players have managed to find the opposition.
Yeah, the Morwell transition spread's got to be a lot quicker. Tyler Hilly had no one to go to then again. He looked up and there was 4 Maroon players just covering the half-back line there, hence why he had to switch it to probably a 3-on-1, I think it was too.
Well, Hayden Hector in a spot of bother, right shoulder.
Giath from the stoppage did well, got it out towards Abbas, had to get low, then his opponent slipped over. So now Abbas lowers the eyes. It's a shock and wobbly kick, but it might just be a good result. It is Thuring on Hillier. Thuring did well, handball out wide. He did nicely to Barnes. Clearing kick. It's all the Tigers out there. Rosado's one of those. Took on the tackler, kept his feet. Rosado, chip kick, beautiful. Oh no, it just missed Giath's head. And they come the Maroons. Thuring handballs again to Barnes. They go backwards. Now they get to go forward through. That was Musto. Nice kick to Lee Stockdale right in the middle of the Traralgon Showgrounds.
Yeah, they're surging forward, but I tell you what, there's not much for Stockdale to work with other than the big man in LaPraise. That's Dylan LaPraise, left half forward flank, tries to get it within the corridor, goes long. Where's the target? Front of the pack, I think, could have been Collison. Got hands to the ball, roving it nicely. Wilson Gordian, left foot kick, round the body, hardest attempt all day. Yep, he finds the goals. They've finally done it. 24 and a half minutes gone, first quarter. They've hit the front for the first time today, and they've done it nicely.
I'm exhausted. I can't believe all that work for that goal then. And I think it was just more persistence than anything else because something had to give. And that goal there by Gordian, he was in the right spot. Great snap. First goal to Traralgon.
Monticella's scoreboard at the 25-minute mark of the first quarter. Traralgon hit the front for the first time today. 1-4-10, leading Morwell, 1 goal straight, 6.
Bennett goes up. Broadbent that is up against Musil. And there's a free kick in the middle. Go to the Tigers against Musto. And at 4, Rosado. As Rosado in the middle of the ground. Looking for an option. Kennedy presents for him in the forward line. Now he tries to play on, gets around. Nice Shepherd.
Jeez.
A kick towards the pocket. It's all for Yench out there. And, well, you'd think that Yench was the forward. He led out that way. That's where Rosado kicked it. And Yench took the mark. He gave off a handball to Hall, who he has been using it all right. Jackson Hall. Now the kick. They came in board. They try and take the game on through the middle of the ground to the Maroons. Stockdale decides to go back out wide. He's going to miss his target in Broadbent. And Newsom was on his hammer. And we'll see another boundary throw in. 26 minutes have gone. The Maroons lead it by 4 points. It's been a horrible first quarter.
I think it's time now for Morwell to roll the dice, get your spare out of there and get them down forward. And let's just take it on one-on-one and maybe draw that spare out and see if they can free up that 50.
The side that settles first will get the advantage, and let's see if Traralgon can't get that advantage right now through Michael Jacobson. Goes within 30 metres. Cutting it off nicely was James Jacobson. Any relation, boys? Brothers, but on differing sides today.
Twins.
Twins? Well, I reckon they might have.
They're not twins.
I thought so.
They are.
Yeah.
Well, there's a discussion for quarter time. The ball at the left half forward flank, and more the first players there. Nicely done too. I reckon it could have been Josh Scott, bottom of the pack as the siren goes. And Traralgon, well, they lead 1 goal 4-10 to 1 straight goal. A fairly uninspiring 30 minutes of football, boys, after
Every game here too. So Sale, they lead comfortably over Wonthaggi 7-2-44 to Wonthaggi 1-2-8. So a great start there by Sale. Druin, they lead Maffra 3-2-20 to 2-5-17.
Yep.
So a tight one down that way. Murray, they've nudged themselves in front there at quarter time. 4-8-32 to Leongatha 4-1-25. Thanks, Colleen. Bairnsdale 4-1-25. They trail Warrigal 5-4-34.
Oh, good start.
And
9 scoring shots to 5.
Just a real quick one in the match of the day in the Mid-Gippsland Footy League. It's a tight one as expected. Yallourn North 2-3-15. They lead Mooba North 2 straight goals.
Well, second quarter, I'm assuring that everyone out there, things will balance out a little bit. And what I mean by that is at least everyone's going one-on-one to start this second quarter. So the coaches have made some adjustments. They go through the middle this time, Traralgon, to start it off. Jacobson drives inside. God. No one can mark it. Lopez overran it. Allowed Linton there for the Tigers to give it to Snyder. He fumbled the football. Head now over the football. They're trying to win it back there, the Tigers. Good work by Williams, who will wrap it up and will have a ball up. Inside forward 50 for the Maroons.
Interesting setup there by Traralgon. They all started deep in the goal square. Every forward player inside 50.
Well, can they get a goal out of this forward thrust? Good work by Musil. Comes out the back. Collison's been busy. He looks for the squaring kick. Out wide. There's lots of numbers out there. Well done. That is Wilson Gordian to take the mark. He's outside 50, too far out to score for the Maroons, kicking towards the city end. Puts it to the top of the square. Musil will sit on this and fly. Good work by Cale just to protect him as he went up and gave the handball to Siddle, got it out wide towards Howe.
He has indeed, and Howe's kick, though, went searching for his teammate, couldn't get past Hector, I believe, who was taken over the line. Nicely tackled it was by Damien Howe, but it was the man Hayden Hector. I thought he had problems with that right shoulder. Keep an eye on that. It's heavily bandaged, who was taken over the line, ball and all. Musil's been busy too. We'll check his stats later, but certainly taking some nice marks as Giath handballs off. And now Morwell go forward again. They do it through Howe, who's been good, but that kick was a little bit poor, to be honest, and it fell in the arms of Jackson Hall.
Boxer, just keep an eye on that. What happens then?
Can we just keep a message out to the Morwell guys? Do not kick it to Jackson Hall. He's on his own.
Well, is the message... They went 1-on-1 to start that quarter. Now something's broken down. If either they've rolled up and they've let Hall go back. But
and there's his man there.
So Cale now. So they start off man on man, and now they've got the loose ones again. And Cale went to the top of his 50 and found Rosado. Rosado will play on and drive it long. Towards half. Well, that's a much better kick. And out in open space there was Isaac Abbas. Now they've just got to wait because Jackson Hall's sitting there, and Isaac Abbas doesn't want to kick there. He's got to look more laterally, I think. Now some numbers roll down, so he chips it on top of Giath's head, and, well, Mitch Musto just shoved him out of the way, legally, of course, and was too strong.
So Musto from half-back flank to half-forward, he'll go, and Musil, that man that I mentioned a few moments ago, who's been taking some good marks on the half-back, gives 30 metres up, but keeps possession before it's kicked back to whence it came, and falls in the arms of Judar Leek, right half-back flank. Kicks to the leading teammate in Howe. I thought he was taken high.
Yep.
That's the way the umpire saw it too. And Howe, who's been busy in the last few minutes, will get a chance for another possession. The first gamer, the son of Wayne, a nervous father and a friend of mine, would be pretty happy with what he's seen so far. That kick was nice. He found Giath on right half or just short of right half forward flank. Why not kick it to the man that's marking everything? Usually he got his hands to it. It fell in his hands again. Has another kick to the top of the square and marking it nicely is Jackson McMahon, who put himself in the right position and now eases the pressure for the home side.
Well, he got it out wide, and it was a teammate out there. He hit the target. It was Barnes, and now his kick was a bit of a turnover. Suter put a strong tackle on, caused the fumble. Hillier went in and tried to win the football. Now, as does Snyder out there to handball over the top. Suter's got 3 to beat, and, well, the weight of numbers in the end just fall in the way of the Maroons, and Jens, kicked it straight back to Snyder.
Be serious, boys.
Well... It is a little bit of a comedy now. Snyder does a risky kick inboard, and that's going to be turned over. Dangerous. Musto took on the tackler. Good work. Rosado helped him out. And, well, Howe was under pressure. Rosado come to help. And 2-on-1 tackler worked all right as Howe kicked it to Linton. And he was lucky to get a chop of the arms, Max Linton. So he gets to play on because Rosado took a big shepherd. Now he drives. Hot spot it goes. Turnover again. And this is all too much of a joke.
Well, they come grandstand side. Let's see if we can't clear the ball this time through Hayden Hector. He's got a leading player coming grandstand side in Troy Forrest, who grabs the ball, wants to give, but then gets tackled from behind, and as a consequence, his kick doesn't find the mark. Good work from behind by the big man in Isaac Abbas that applied enough pressure to cause the turnover that led to a boundary throw-in right in front of our TRFM commentary position. 4.5 minutes gone, second quarter. It's Traralgon 1 goal, 4, Morwell 1 goal.
That means no score in this second quarter yet. Rosado bust away from a strong tackle from Musto. Working hard is Hutchison. A good tackle on Jackson McMahon. And the umpire said he had no opportunity.
I reckon McMahon was tackled before he actually had the ball there. But the tackle was good because Hutchison was tackling in anticipation that he was going to bring that ball in. Exactly what happened.
Just a little side note there too, boys. Jackson McMahon and Callum Hutchison both work together as work colleagues but enemies today, as it often is. A good handball by Giath to Musil. Now McMahon was there. Suter got taken away from an unruly shepherd. Hecker was working on Riley Lopez. He was good enough to get the handball. Good kick up. That was from Williams to Lopez. Now by hand. Working hard in there is Charles. So's Williams. He's had 2 or 3 goes at this one. They can't clear it out. Lopez was there as well. Traralgon just a kick off the ground. Gets them a little bit of meterage to the top of their 50. Rosado helps out the defenders for the Tigers, and Siddle will give it to hands to Linton, who can clear the pressure for the moment.
Well, he can, but only momentarily, because it's all Traralgon 3-on-1, front of the pack, but not taking the mark with the Maroons. And Jaya, base of the pack, starting to get a bit busy. Hands it off nicely to Josh Scott. He goes, well, he went to go inboard, but he got dispossessed by Collinson.
Oh.
He tried to thread one through. He was stolen by Patrick Charles. No relation to the Queen's family. It goes inside forward 50. McMahon taking ball and all. A Bass, good tackle as well. And Traralgon now will have a bit of room through Matty Williams. Can he find a teammate? He can't on this occasion. Gavin Stevenson gives it back to Matt Williams. And now Traralgon are out of trouble. But the man I mentioned a few moments ago that went for the mark is in a spot of bother.
Yes, box up.
Yeah, look, Jackson Hall, he is seeing stars, guys. I hope he's okay. He was in that marking contest, sitting himself in front of the pack, got crunched from behind, and yeah, I don't think we'll see him for the rest of the day based on what I see now. He's bleeding from one ear as well, guys, so hopefully he's all okay.
Oh, he's got a split there. He's got a beauty.
As both the runner and the trainer take him off into the rooms as Traralgon go forward again. It's 1-on-3 over the back with Stockdale. Now it is for Forrest. Spins around, right foot snap around the body, and finally at the 7-minute mark, Traralgon get another one. Troy Forrest is the one. He's very crafty down in the forward line.
Yeah, that was a great goal there too, and sorry I missed most of the play for that setup for that goal there too. We were just more concentrating there on Jackson Hall, but a great goal there to Traralgon. They get their second for the day.
And on the Greenham Gippsland scoreboard, that takes Traralgon to 2-4-16. They're leading by 10 points over Morwell, who are still on 1 goal straight 6.
You know, I'm hoping everything's all right with Jackson Hall too, Darryl, but this is an opportunity now too for Morwell to try and, leverage off probably their best player for the day at the moment while he's off the ground.
Well, what will they do? Traralgon obviously had him as the loose man. Do they put someone else loose, or they go man on man?
I reckon they'll use Mitch Musto maybe.
All right, let's have a look at it. They're man on man to start the stoppages, and then someone rolls up. So we'll just see what happens here at the moment. They've got another ball up right in the middle of the ground. As Musil will go up against Broadbent. Musil got a clear hand on it. Down there was Geoff, no possession though, and we'll do this one again.
So I just had a message from Sean Mooney, the coach of Young from the East Gippsland Football League. He's at the match between Bensdale and Warrigal, 3 minutes into the second quarter. Not much change to that quarter-time score. Warrigal 34, Bensdale 26.
Well, not much happening here because we're going to have another stoppage right in the middle of the ground again as the umpire's trying to let things go, but just by the weight and numbers he'll have to, in the end, cross his hands, and we'll do it again. So we haven't moved, well, we've probably moved about 5 metres, if that, 2 metres from that centre circle. After that last goal, Musil again got his hands on it. Musto has been really busy in the middle, and so is Rosado. You talk about two bulls. Well, Musto and Rosado are the ones. That was the tantalising matchup we spoke about. Collison just works off the back of this pack. There he is. Got it. Underground handball nicely done to Musto. And a great little kick with a bit of vision out wide to where Barnes is out there. It stopped some props. Barnes was able to pick it up and then deliver to White Oak. Just at his toes, though. White Oak did well, so did Cale. Now he's got some support. They get it back. White Oak. Oh, Cale crashed in again. They're at ground level. Now the Maroons. Looks to handball out the wide. Broadbent will be the one that will drive it inside forward 50. Front spot. James Jacobson for the Tigers.
That's where you got to be, boys. Front spot, tumbling punt. Always favours the bloke in front. The kick was poor. And guess what?
Kick
Opens the door for Michael Jacobson. It was like it was 1998 when they were playing kick to kick in the backyard. Found each other beautifully, but Jacobson went for the washing line and missed. And another minus score, Paul Carter.
Greenham Gippsland scoreboard, Traralgon 2-5-17, leading Morwell 1 straight 6, 9.5 minutes played second quarter.
I think Rosado just took it a little bit too easy there too. He didn't really attack the ball, and Jacobson did. So.
And then this kick in goes to Rosado, and he attacked it. He's got Hutchison on, but a big spoil over the back, and Matt Williams is the one. He spoiled it over the top, and I know Hutchison's working really hard, but he can't be that outlet kick down the line, can he? And
he needs to be in the pocket right beside Wilson.
Yeah, and the
right
Tigers have to work out who that outlet kick's going to be.
Rosado, another touch, quick touchdown to Brad Brereton. He kicks towards Giath, who's just outside forward 50.
That's the one.
The boundary to within 2 or 3 metres of his right-hand side on the deck with all the past premiership players here from Traralgon to his right. Kicks to the lead of Wilson. He's beaten to the ball. In fact, chopping of the arm will go to Traralgon. Wilson chopped in the arms of Adam Yench. And at the last line of defence, Yench will go short.
To Thuring, who was called to play on it, didn't go far enough, clears his defensive 50 with a beautiful kick. Although just juggling was Ambler. Hillier came in and put a spoil on. Now McDonald just overzealous with the tackle, got him high, and they play on quickly again, the Maroons. Hector missed the target, allowed Charles to sell some candy but step over the line. And the Tigers will get a chance to reset, reload.
He's played well, Charles. I think the answer to your question before, it's probably Giath as that lead up. You know, just maybe use someone with a little bit of toe. He's got good hands overhead as well, and he'll trouble Williams too.
11 points of margin in favour of Traralgon at the 11-minute mark of the second quarter. Boundary throw-in didn't go anywhere, so we'll ball this one up again, and it will be Abbas against Broadbent. Abbas knocked it down, but Musto's working hard in the middle. Gave it to Thuring, who gave it to Hector by hands. Drives a right foot kick to the pocket. It's one-on-one. Jacobson in the front spot, then got ripped off the football. Stockdale said, I don't care. I'll grab it. I'll kick it to the hot spot, and I'll get it to Dylan Lopez, who out-muscled Siddle, and will go back from 25 metres out on a slight angle to extend the margin again.
Well, it's not really on the scoreboard yet, but Traralgon are starting to wrestle control of this game. I mean, 7 scoring shots to 1, remembering that Morwell had the first scoring shot of the day. They've got their chances here. LaPrez needs to make the most of this one.
Well, very slight angle. It's good to see Nathan Scurry enjoying himself at the canteen, not doing commentary duties in season 2019 as Lopez comes in and puts it straight through the middle. And that's exactly what the Maroons need. They get the first 2 goals of this second quarter.
Yeah, Poppy alluded to that exact fact that there's worrying signs now for Morwell. You can just see there's a little bit of clinch in their arm. Remember that the armour was being pretty ordinary for the day. They kept themselves into the game, but just slowly but surely the experienced players of Traralgon, minus Jackson Hall, are starting to get on top.
And on the Green of Gippsland scoreboard, there's a 17-point lead to Traralgon, 12.5-minute mark second quarter, 3-5-23 the Maroons, Morwell 1 straight 6. Will Broadbent's just hobbled off with an ankle.
So Lopez goes to the contest the ruck against Abbas. He got one high, he thought, but play on was the call. Nicely done. Abbas came in high. Play on again, the umpire says. Busting the pack was Will Kennedy. Kicks to within 35. It's all Traralgon. And the first player there is Gavin Stevenson. Feeds it off and they go outer side of the ground. Rosado, in fact, it wasn't Rosado, it was Hecker that was the first player there. But Traralgon again, weight of numbers, goes towards the right half-forward flank, but roving it nicely or marking it nicely was Maxi Linton.
Well, he went lateral to Brereton and he played on quickly. That's a good kick. Out the run of Jacobson. He's got one over the top. The kick was partially smothered. It might come off. Howe was there. He's just got to get it further afield. He does. Gets it to Kennedy. They're 60 metres out. Now this is a problem area for the Tigers. They've got no one inside forward 50. Kicks to the vacant area. Wilson did well to get to the front spot. Giath tried to rove it and then got slung down in a tackle. But working hard back there was Johnson. They clear it out to the fat side. And Connor Little will just amble out of his defensive 50, but missed the target by a long way. Dylan Lopez is the one. He's just got enough time, though. He still gets out there and gathers it and then runs over. And we'll have a boundary throw in. And Connor Little had all the time in the world, just couldn't quite hit that target.
I think it might be time for to make a change. Oh, they're doing it. I was going to say maybe take Wilson off. His pace is probably letting him down forward, and they just lack that little bit of bite. So maybe go a little bit shorter and see where they can work out.
Let's see what they can do as Hecker gets the ball to a teammate. They go inboard. They find Damien Howe. He's been pretty busy, hasn't he? Half a dozen or so touches this quarter, and they come grandstand side again. This occasion, Daniel Schneider looks up forward. Not a lot of options there. In fact, it's all Maroons. It's basically 5-on-2, so he goes short and wide, and now they go backwards. They're going to try and find an avenue.
This could work.
Almost like working their way around a key in basketball. They do the same right now. And Hacker will get the chance to send the Tigers forward. He stops and props, dances around one, can't get around the second, and all of a sudden a turnover could prove to be nasty as Ambler goes nicely. A quick handball over the top. Traralgon have got the numbers. Can they do some damage? They just need a mark right here, right now. Guess what? They've got it through Hayden Hector, is on the end of it. He marks compliments of some poor play from Morwell, Boxer.
Yeah, and I think Jacobson's done his shoulder again, guys. This is what kept him out for the last couple of weeks. So some pretty devastating news for Morwell. He's been one of their better players as well today.
So with that right shoulder just hanging.
You're sure they're out that Boxer? I know he's got his left one strapped, but this looks like he's holding his right, so it would be wretched luck.
Well, at least it would be wretched luck, but it was a shoulder, so don't have to really back me into that one.
No, but we've got the goal anyway for the Maroons as Hayden Hector slams it home. But if he's done his right shoulder. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
he's done both in the last space of a couple of weeks.
Well, the old-fashioned play, Paul Carter, was to strap up the good one and hope that they go for that one. We'll see.
And that's a 23-point lead now to Traralgon. We've played almost 16 minutes into the second quarter. The Greenham Gippsland scoreboard finds the Maroons on 4-5-29, and Morwell still on their one-goal straight 6.
That's the Achilles heel of Morwell is their half-forward line. They just can't penetrate through there, and they've got really lack of options now.
Well, was it Jackson Hall that went off the ground before?
Yep.
Well, Jackson Hall was pretty disappointed because his girlfriend bust her way through to the Traralgon interchange bench and wanted him to take a phone call. He's still not happy about it.
Well, they might have just been checking. Maybe the family was just checking. He does seem okay. He's back in the box. Not too sure if he'll take any further part of the game or not, but he is back standing up in the box there, so that's a good sign. As the Tigers went to go forward, Snyder had it out there, gave it to Howe. He kicked it inside forward 50, and Brereton marks on a 2-on-1 situation. Will be right up against the boundary line. The umpire might just come in here and overrule, I think, the boundary umpire. They have a quick chat. No, they said it's all clear. So
When was the last time Morwell scored, Paul Carter, given that we're 17 minutes into the second quarter?
It was very early on.
back in the first quarter,
second minute mark of the first quarter.
which was a goal, by the way.
Yep.
That's their only score. So Isaac Abbas was that one as Brereton comes in, puts it on its way. It's not going to quite get the accuracy. It's going to get rushed through. No, it doesn't. It gets rushed over for a boundary throw-in. And they still haven't scored since that 2-minute mark of the first quarter. Can they get something here, the Tigers? From a stoppage inside forward 50, it'll be Broadbent in the front spot. We'll tap it straight down to his teammate down there in Ambler. Missed the handball as they work hard, the Tigers. Rosado dives on top of it. Down there was Hutchison as well. And the Maroons lock it up. We'll get another ball up. Tigers try to set up the wall or outside their 50. Again, Musel's had the dominance over the ruck duties. Jackson McMahon goes to ground and Hutchison puts a strong tackle on him. And those two aren't going to leave each other's side, whether it's Monday to Friday at Intersport or on a Saturday afternoon when they're playing each other. From the stoppage again, the Tigers win it. Snyder, he took on the tackler though and was pinged for throwing the ball. Cam Whiteoak will be the one.
Darryl, I honestly think that Jackson Hall will probably come back onto the ground, which is great news. He's holding that mouth guard and he's standing there without the robe on, and it looks like he's getting ready to come back on.
But that's not the player that you said we'll see no further side of
Yeah, yeah, I'm known to get it wrong once in a while, probably.
So Traralgon now they spread the ball wide. They come inboard to Collison. Haven't called his name a lot since a busy first quarter. At least his possession found a teammate. Paul Carter, how's his possessions looking?
Four possessions this quarter and 8 in the first.
Okay, not bad. Adam Yench has the ball. They go short again. Being a little bit more patient, aren't they, Traralgon? As a consequence, they're not turning the ball over quite as much. 9 scoring shots to 1, if you don't mind. 4 goals, 5 to 1 goal. Traralgon leaders. Jaya sends them forward through Musil, possibly one of their better players. Takes a bounce, kicks within 450, and it's touched on the line. Yes. And the last line of defence, that could have been a team lifting effort by Musil if it wasn't for the outstretched arm and fingertip touch by Gavin Stevenson.
Greenham Gippsland scoreboard. Traralgon 4-5-29. Morwell 1-1-7.
So McMahon went short to Thuring, who goes short again to Collison. 45 away from their goal. Collison decides to come back into the goal square where McMahon is. They do. They can get over the top to Stevenson, who worked out towards the top of his 50. They've got no one down the wing. Have the Maroons. They're just going to have to wait. I wouldn't be surprised if they switch this back up again. He decides to kick it. In the end, probably a poor option because Noblet was able to come in and take the mark. He tried to kick that 60 metres because he had Ambler on his own, and then Noblet off a back foot just found the target in Giath. It was a short one. McDonald presents. Not quite there. Rosado leads to some open space.
This is where they need Isaac Abbas just to be that target, I think.
Well, it goes inside forward 50 again. Hutchison had to fly, the smallest guy out there. He's working hard. McMahon goes to ground. Musil. Now Hutchison works hard to try and win his own football. Yench knocked it out to Collison though, and the Maroons are away again. Thuring, clearing kick, but Hillier got one hand up. Giath was there for support. Twisting and turning. McDonald under pressure. Handball missed the target from Hillier as Williams tried to take both of those boys on and ran out of real estate. And we'll have a boundary throw in right in front of the old grandstand here at the showgrounds 20 minutes have gone, 22-point margin to the Maroons.
So right half forward flank, Newsall front of the pack. Can he get a touch? He can't. It falls out to the back of Will Broadbent. Tapped down, went searching for, but couldn't find Mitchy Musto. He went to ground ball and all, as did Collinson. Rosado was there as well. A couple of changes as Jackson Hall comes back onto the ground after that nasty knock a few moments ago. Speaking of nasty knocks, Rosado just got a hard tackle, but he loves it. That'll get him up and about. Don't worry about that. Nice hands by White Oak over the top to Hector. Quick kick to half forward. Taken, though, by Daniel Siddle, who gives ground, keeps possession. They work it from one to the other side of the ground. Patrick Charles goes across and finds his teammate in Tom Cale. Kicks to the advantage of Cody McDonald, and he goes inboard. The handball means that Cale has to stop and prop on his non-preferred left foot kick. Can't find a teammate. They need a fortuitous bounce. They don't get it. Players collide. Players hit hard, and Traralgon come up with the ball, and they're now starting to get some run from that half-back line.
Barnes it was, gave a handball off to Little, and Linton got low. He didn't quite mark it. Now he's under pressure. The umpire said you had no opportunity.
I'll just do a quick round of grounds thanks to Harvey Norman Furniture. In the AFL, it's half-time, and I'm wrong again. The Brisbane Lions, they have a slender lead at 7-4-46. A-League Carlton 6-5-41.
Wow, good game there. The Blues could cause an upset. Let's see if Morwell can cause an upset here. They trail, though, by some 22 points, and we're deep into the second quarter, 21 and nearly 22 minutes. Traralgon go forward. The handball went searching for, couldn't find White Oak. He tried to draw a player and give it over the top, couldn't find White Oak, and eventually the boundary line wins out, so there'll be a boundary throw in. Right half forward flank, Traralgon into attack. 22 and a quarter minutes gone. Second quarter, 29-7.
Broadbent took the ruck duties. No one really won it from there. Musto crashed his way through and then got pinged for throwing it, as Rosado was hard on his hammer. And he won the free kick at half-back flank, kicks it towards the wing area. Musil is the target. Tries to tap it over the top of the head. Stevenson was there. He found the boundary, did Musil. And we'll have a boundary throw-in. Key stats this quarter, Paul. Collison's starting to get a little bit since Poppy gave him a rev up.
He's got 8 again this quarter, so he's 16 for the match. Michael Jacobson's just been a little quieter. He had 10 in the first 2 this quarter.
And Giath for the Tigers doing okay.
Giath has had 8 this quarter, 14 for the match to date.
So the big man in Broadbent got the tap down, and now they'll from defence. In fact, it was James Jacobson.
No, sorry, back on.
He's back on the ground. We worried about that shoulder.
Boxer called it
He's
out.
actually got both shoulders strapped now, interestingly enough.
So I wasn't wrong. He did a shoulder.
He did.
He said he popped out.
Well, he probably did. And it went back in.
He's
Popped
tough.
in again.
He's tough.
So White Oak dances around the man on the mark, but guess what? He danced right into trouble and over the boundary line, so there'll be a boundary throw in. Maul just threatening that forward 50, but just can't do the damage on the scoreboard. We'll get an update of forward 50 entries in this second quarter because Traralgon have lifted the tempo, and at the moment they're leading the contest. First player there for Morwell was Cody McDonald, beaten to it, and in fact dispossessed of the ball. White Oak starting to get a bit of it too, sends Maroons forward along the line to right half forward flank. Abbas flies from the back, 3 deep. Rosado ground level, takes the 1-2, gives to Abbas, gets it back, goes over the top, goes to his mate in Hecker to Giath. Hecker gets it back. He wants to give it to Rosado, who's ran 45 metres and kicks 55 to a one-on-one contest. McMahon got rid of his teammate in Hutchinson. In fact, got rid of his friend, who's an opposition player in Hutchinson. And eventually the umpire will assume control 40 metres out from Morwell's goals.
I must be seeing the wrong game. Inside 50,
No, you're not.
Callum Hutchinson is 5'2".
He had an option then, didn't he?
He did.
The short option.
Yeah, the shorter option, or go deep to the goal square.
Broadbent tapped it down. Barnes was the one in the back half. Good work by Musil. Tried to handball to Snyder. He did well. Out the back, though, was Stevenson. Now Collison, the quarterback, goes back to the last line of defence where Yench has it. Goes over the top by hand to McMahon. Tries to kick it outside to 50. Beautiful one. Spots up Cam White Oak. Right on the top of his defensive 50. He's certainly getting busy for Gippsland Isuzu Ute this afternoon.
Here we go.
And they switch it up back towards Hecker. It is Hector, I should say.
Needs to move it quickly.
Out towards Hall now. Good one. Chips it over the top. They did move it quickly. Just at the toes of Thuring. Gave it back to Hall, who ran onto it. Now he's under a bit of pressure from Hillier on a strong tackle. And the umpire will ball it up. Big moments for Monticello this afternoon. Carlton Dry Stubbies 24 for $45, or the Gossips range, right up your alley, Boxer, $3 each.
They're beautiful.
They are. So big tap forward, and it was by Broadbent. First player there will be Benny Johnson, not the sprinter, Traralgon midfielder. And they work their way out of trouble. This is where they've been breaking down somewhat, and they can take a mark here. I thought taken without the ball was the big man in Hector. Playing was the call, and Morwell surge inside forward 50, or do they? They do. It's only for a moment, as feeding the ball off and running nicely was McMahon. Compliments of a handball from Jackson Hall. He's got all sorts of time to find a teammate. He can't find Laprise. Siddle was first player there. Brought the ball to ground just as the half-time siren sounded, with a scoreboard reading Traralgon have a lead.
4-5-29 of the Maroons, and the Tigers are stuck on 1-1-7. They added one behind that quarter, while for the Maroons they kicked 3 goals, 1. And they lead it by 22 points at half-time. It's been a scrappy affair. It's tough. The tackling's quite strong. And I'm sure that both coaches will go in at half-time and rectify into the box. How'd you go at half-time, mate?
Oh, I just needed a breather. I mean, sometimes things frustrate you, don't they? And at 60 minutes of football, or be it, there was a lift in skill and delivery in the second quarter. It needed to be, because it was just rock bottom in that first 30 minutes of football. In fact, for all those past premiership players that came back to watch this game today, between traditional rivals.
Gee, what would they be thinking?
Well, they'd be thinking they could probably still get a kick.
Yep.
And we can think that. We couldn't. But the fact is, that skill level was pretty ordinary. We all agree on that. And coupled with that, there hasn't been a real spitefulness or anything into the game. So, you can sometimes forgive skills being poor when body contact is really hard and tough, and there's a bit of fever around the ball.
The tackling's been okay.
It's been
okay. That's been tough, but the skill errors are easy ones, aren't they?
Well, I think some of the tackling's been caused by turnovers because the kick's been so poor.
Yeah, that's true.
There's been times when both sides have had room to move and surge forward. They've either waited on the ball, their disposal's been poor, they've chosen the wrong option, and then when they've got chances at goals, they haven't finished off well either. So, this is really going to be a good test of where Morwell sit at the moment. I think Traralgon have got this game by the scruff of their neck, and if they extend their margin by three-quarter time, I think they'll run away comfortably. But if Morwell get themselves back in the game, who knows, given Traralgon's last 30 minutes that we've seen several times this year, Paul Carter?
The team stats really bear up what you're saying there. Inside 50s in the first quarter was 16-11 Traralgon's way. It went 11-6 Morwell's way. They went inside almost twice as many times as Traralgon and only managed the one behind. So the inside 50s to half-time are 22 apiece. Clearances are pretty similar. Traralgon 15-12. Centre clearances 2-3 favouring Morwell. Free kicks are 7 apiece to half-time, 2 each in the first, 5 each in the second. Marks also very similar, 56-51 favouring Morwell. Contested marks, Morwell have got more of those, 11-5, 11-9. But here we go, marks inside 50. Traralgon have got 6, Morwell have got just 2. So that's where you say, and Boxer, you've been mentioning all the way along, cross half forward, they're breaking down. The Traralgon half back line are dominant.
Well, hopefully the message has been to break that at half-time by the Morwell coach and the Morwell coaching staff as well. Quickly around the grounds before we started the third quarter. It's three-quarter time. The Blues lead by 10 points, 57-47.
Well, here we go. Third quarter is underway here at the showgrounds in Traralgon. Bass got his hand on it. Snyder handled out to Rosado. He had a fresh airy. Umpire said play on. Ball still in the middle of the ground.
Jeez, he fights hard.
He certainly does. Now it comes out Traralgon's way. Collison received the handball from Williams. His little chip kick missed the target, Collison. He goes and butters it up. He does. Shrugs one tackle. Right foot kick inside forward 50. Lee Stockdale gets off the chain and Mark's going back with a flight. He's hard up on the boundary line, but only 40 metres out. He doesn't waste any time at all. Puts it on its way to the top of the square. It's going. And Goydian was the one who touched it over. His teammate, it's a minor score inside a minute.
McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard. Traralgon have a 23-point lead, 4-6-30 to Morwell 1-1-7.
They bring the ball back in quickly. Abbas is the target, jumps high, 1 grab, 2 grab, 3 grabs, play on is the call, and then he takes the Traralgon opponent high after frustratingly dropping what he possibly should have taken, and the player that comes up with the ball is Wilson Gordian. So Wilson Gordian from 55 and a 45-degree angle will kick to the top of the square. Can he find a winner here? Laprise, yes sirree. That's a little bit too easy. And I'm not rapping, I'm just calling it as I see it. And Traralgon have got the chance now to surge forward. Their margin 23 points, boys.
Yeah, it was just, it opened up. I think there was a Moore player had to go back with a flight there. Just had to put his body on the line because Siddle was behind. He was close, but not enough to put the spoil on. Dylan Lopez, we know he's got good hands.
You say Lopez, I say Laprise. Let's see, he should kick this in a breeze. Laprise straight ahead, nice finish. He's hit the post. Oh my goodness gracious, the right upright boxer had the chance to put the pressure on the Morwell side in the opening minutes of this third quarter and missed it.
I better sort you two blokes out. It's easy. They've got an Italian name. His name is Laprise.
There we go. 4-7-31, Traralgon leading Morwell 1-1-7.
You have to say it properly.
Laprise.
That's
Short kick goes to Tommy Cale in his back pocket.
like Lecchino.
He has Hecker. It goes close to the line and it goes over, in fact, right in front of the deck. And these past players are about to get changed and run out there, you'd think. As Connor Little will be the one for the Maroons to drive it back inside 50. The pack will form. Leprezi, not quite there. Does he win the free? No, the Tigers get it. How'd they go, Box?
Not bad. Not bad.
For the free kick.
I'm hoping Boxer listened to what I said.
Okay, free kick goes to Noblet. As Noblet kicks it out towards Bigger Bass and Broadbent, the two ruckmen. Bass does well. Now he just tries to tap it forward. Nicely out to Giath. Underground. Snyder's under pressure from Thuring. And we'll have a ball up. Half back flank for the Tigers.
All right, half forward flank for Traralgon. They're leading 4-7-31 to Morwell 1-1-7. Abbas will do the ruck work. He will come from behind to see if he can get it. Hands on ball. Rosado taken high by McMahon. And he'll get the resultant free kick. Plays on quickly. Abbas, the 1-2. Back to Rosado. Goes long to Musil. Fends off one player and gets it back nicely. Good pressure, though, from Traralgon's defence. Keeping the ball outside Morwell's forward 50. Can they burst through? They can. No, only momentarily. Musil laid a tackle. It was Hacker that kicks to within 30 metres of goals. And it's all Traralgon now through Barnes, was it?
Yep. Yeah, he kicked it. He played on quickly. Got it out to Little. He gets it out his defensive 50. And Collison's working hard for the Maroons. He's got space ahead, but he decides to wait and hold on to it. Now he's been called to play on by the umpire. He went backwards to Chris Thuring, who has been a nice recruit. Touches so far, Paul.
That's number 10.
So kicks it nicely to Ambler. Half-back flank, the slow and steady approach for the Maroons at the 4-minute mark as they lead it by 24 points, not 15 surely. It lands in the hands of Collison, who drives it now to half forward. Abbas goes back and in the end had to spoil, didn't know what was coming. And he'll find the boundary line with that spoil and we'll have a boundary throw in on the half-forward flank of the Maroons at the Traralgon Showgrounds in the third quarter. Here we are as they lead by 24 points.
They do, so they're starting to, as we say, lift the tempo after quarter time. Nicely done. Giath, Abbas, Rosado, all good players, the best. Finally finds Patrick Charles from half-back. Kicks to the advantage of Musil. Does it nicely. Feeds off quickly. Will Kennedy's got room to move and gives it back to Charles, who ran on nicely. A kick from 35. McMahon is going to find the behinds. And under pressure, he gives up a point to keep possession and then goes short and finds his mate in Kona Little.
Yeah, he goes short again to Thuring. Missed the target, though, and bounces over his head. And we'll have a boundary throw in front of the canteen.
Morwell's third score for the game. They takes them to 1-2-8. They're trailing Traralgon by 23 points. 4-7-31. McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard. 5-minute mark, third term.
Musil's very important, isn't he, at the forward line for the Tigers? They need to clone him somehow. As good work by Williams from the stoppage. Cleared it by hand. The McMahon run is strong. Solid. Ran a long way. Kicked it inside forward 50. Jacobson with dodgy shoulders goes up. Drops the mark. Leprezi handballs but coughed it straight up to Charles, who got it out to Noblet on the defensive 50 for the Tigers. Gets it out towards GF. Elevates and marks.
Well, I tell you what, I've got this yearning for ravioli all of a sudden. I'm not sure why. Anyway, the Bulls are now around right half forward flank. Play on's the call. Courtesy of advantage. Picking up the ball was Wide Oak. Kicks to the advantage of Collison. Can he keep it in? The fight's on. Abbas goes for Collison. And both are beaten to the ball by the boundary. 25 metres out from Traralgon goals. Grandstand side of Traralgon's ground. And they lead at the moment by some 23 points.
Ball goes straight up and down, and we're going to do this one again.
We might take two on that one.
While we're doing that, I do like the way Morwell now have set up. They've got Hecker forward, Musil at centre half forward. So they've really straightened themselves up. There was the best set of play there too when the ball got inside 50. They just couldn't capitalise.
Second attempt is a good one. We're inside Traralgon's forward 50. Ground level there is Suter. And not going anywhere. Actually, it was Jacobson. As we'll have another ball up inside the 50. Abbas got a hand on it. GF tries to work hard with Lee Stockdale. Nice little flick out to Ambler, who can snap around his body. To the pocket it goes. Collison tries to mark it, can't do so. And we'll have a boundary throw in right in about the 15 metres around from the Traralgon's goal. 7 minutes have gone. The Tigers haven't kicked a goal since the 2-minute mark of the first quarter.
And not going to kick a goal here because Morwell, in fact, Traralgon are going to have an opportunity and they can't make the most of it. I reckon that's the third behind for Connor Ambler today. So they're peppering away, Traralgon, and Morwell somehow against the grain need to find a way to win.
McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard, Traralgon 4-8-32, Morwell 1-8, 7.5 minutes, third quarter.
The thing with the low scoring, they're a chance still, aren't they? Like Traralgon haven't put them away, although from this kick out, Jacobson kicks it high and long. Good little spoil there by Noblet. Goes to the last line. Collison picks it up. Got tackled. Handball out looking for Forrest. Can't find him. Over it goes. Boundary throw in. And as I was saying, they haven't put them away, have they? Traralgon's had majority of the play.
No, and we saw last week too, Darryl. Morwell kicked those 3 goals. I think it was before three-quarter time or half-time. Bang, bang, bang in 3 minutes. So they're quite capable of doing it.
The big moments for Monticello's is probably about now at the 8-minute mark of this third quarter because Jacobson snaps around his body and hits the upright.
And Traralgon's keeping a minute.
Yeah.
At the moment, they've missed their opportunities.
Captain Morgan's spiced gold, 700 mil, $33.
Yum.
Better on a winter's night. Monticello's team up beside us in the commentary position, enjoying the football today and hopefully enjoying the commentary as well. The boys at Monticello's do a good job, and Traralgon are doing a good job at the moment to keep Morwell at arm's length. The ball on the right half forward flank. They're leading 8.5 minutes into this third quarter, 4-9 to 1-2. 13 scoring shots to 3, boys, if you don't mind. So let's see if they can extend that lead. Let's see if they can extend that lead right now. Abbas gets front position, goes searching for a teammate, can't find one. The end of it is Stockdale, goes inboard to Ambler. He'll kick to within 20, but the boundary's close by. And in fact, the boundary wins out, and there'll be a boundary throw-in. 15 metres out from Traralgon's goals. Traralgon kicking to the Loy Yang end of their home ground. And they're hoping that they can get another major. They haven't kicked a major for a while themselves, I must say. Certainly not in this third quarter, boys, and we're halfway through it, or close to. But they're going to go forward again. They'll go forward through McMahon to Stockdale. He'll kick from 55. He's capable of putting this within a metre or two.
Lots of Tigers numbers back, Poppy.
Look at this. He's kicked to the advantage he hoped of Collison, but it was a 2-on-1. He was the meat in the sandwich. Siddle came through to keep the ball in. Maybe he should have went for the boundary. Ambler, he's taken out by Siddle, and there'll be another boundary throw-in.
Well, 9.5 minutes gone. The Tigers still yet to register a goal since the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. And big moments are brought to you by Monticello's, of course. It's right here, right now. The Tigers try to will their way, but Lee Stockdale runs onto it. Left foot snap around the body, goes away.
Goodness.
And another minor score.
It's their 5th for the quarter, taking it to 4-10-34. They're leading Morwell 1-8. McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard, 10-minute mark, third quarter.
Boys, this could be the one. We've got a little bit of moment as the ball has gone back towards the Teeters Junior Football Ground here at the Showgrounds. And with those points that they've kicked from, that's 5 in a row now, if the Tigers can get some sort of continuity and move the football into the forward line and pinch one, all of a sudden momentum swings big time, and they're not that far away. They're only 20 points down.
If you saw the signs that you could have that continuity you speak about with Morwell, then I'd say, yeah, they're a fair chance, but
you just can't see it.
I can't see it. They seem really flat, and Traralgon is just peppering away, and then it's that next goal that Traralgon kick. It'll probably be the game breaker and game win.
I reckon, but you know what? One goal to Morwell can change their mindset. One game to Traralgon can make their job easier. And they've had plenty of chances, haven't they?
They've only broken 50 once this quarter.
Well,
is that right?
Yeah,
so
Morwell have, that's right.
Well, they take the risky kick and they come in board to centre half back, and it was nicely done. Kennedy marked it. He's got nowhere really to go. Gets it out towards Leake, who leads laterally. Now they got one over the top. Noblet's presented. He goes to him now. Elevates and marks. He goes back off the mark. There's no one really headed. There's a Bass will present to the top of the 50. The kick was just to the wrong side of him. Now it's a bit of a chance. This could be the one. Giath got run down from behind. He took the don't argue on. And the second tackle from Jentsch stuck. And that's holding the ball. And that could have been the moment as Jentsch quickly played on to Hall. Tries to get around Hillier. Does so. And then squares the kick out wide. And has found Musto, far side, drives it to the wing area, kicks it to some open space. It's a foot race. Kennedy taps it towards his teammate, but low prayers he comes in, spins around, gets on that left foot. It's a wobbly one. Big spoil from the Tigers. Now Cam Whiteoak has to work hard. Goes to ground, Siddle, handballs to Kennedy, and now the Tigers are away through Musil. As Musil kicks it towards the wing area, it's a poor one. I'll keep going. You keep looking at what you're after, Poppy.
Sorry, I'll just get an update from Bensdale. 8 minutes into the third quarter, Bensdale 58, Warrigal 45, and now Traralgon on to attack, hoping to extend on their lead of 26. Nicely done by Jacobson. Can he find a teammate? He can. Did it the hard way. But a set shot for goal will take place in just a moment, and it will be compliments of Wilson Gordian, who's kicked one today already, but will have a chance for his second 45-degree angle from 45 metres, and this could be a deal-breaker for the visitors in this rivalry game between Traralgon and Morwell. They've been threatening to bust this game open, and a couple of goals right here for Traralgon might do just that. They've had plenty of chances this quarter. They've hit the right upright, the left upright. They're due to put one straight through the middle. The kick from Gordian goes to across the face of goals. And it's yet another behind, Paul Carter, for Traralgon.
That's 6 for the quarter, 6 straight behind for a 27-point lead on the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard. 4-11-35 Traralgon, Morwell 1-2-8.
Short kick to the pocket. Found Jacobson for the Tigers. He's got one close to the boundary. That's a beautiful kick, and found Linton. He had about a metre to spare, and he was able to spot him up as Linton will kick high down the line and let a Bass fly for it. Had to spoil. Front square was Kennedy. Inboard handball to Hecker. Had to quickly whack it on the boot. Does he get over the top of McMahon? No, he ended up marking that. The umpire said no, play on. Now they swarm on him. Hutchison was one of those. He's dragged it in. The umpire can't see. The sun's in his eyes. He's going to let it go. Now he blows the whistle and we'll ball it up.
That was holding the ball every day of the week.
It was a mark to start with.
Oh, I think he dropped that, Daryl.
Righto.
Hit the ground as he come down with it. So, yeah.
Hecker again. Tried to crash his way through, got smothered. And we'll do this one again.
Nick Wilson's come back on for more, guys.
Yeah, he's okay as a lead-up ruckman, although you don't want to have him leading too far. And when the ball hits the ground, he's of no value whatsoever. So they need a pacey player by his feet, and maybe Gias, one of those two options. Although they're 40 metres apart, you reckon he'll work hard to get to the fall of the ball if he gets a chance. A Bass, a big knock forward. He went looking for Hecker, but cutting it off nicely was Chris Thuring. His left foot kick to Gordian, who marked nicely, just short of right half forward flank, kicks to the leading Hector, I'm guessing, gets one hand of it. Couldn't which it in. In fact, it was Mitch Musto. Picking it up nicely was for Traralgon. Couldn't pick it up, but doesn't really matter at the moment because it's all Morwell. 30 metres from Traralgon goals. Applying some good pressure was Hecker. Coming through nicely, but being dispossessed again. Traralgon have got the numbers. They'll have a chance shortly. And they do. And they'll have it through Troy Forrest, who marks just inside forward 50.
Too far out to score, you'd think. Gets called to play on, tries to get around Jacobson, can't do so. So he kicks to the hot spot. Sun's in everyone's eyes. No one can get it. Ambler was there. Squeezed a handball out. They're under pressure, the Maroons. The Tigers put a strong tackle on. We got a ball up directly in front. 15 metres out from Traralgon's goal where they lead at 27 points at the 15-minute mark of this third quarter. Again, they go up. Comes to ground level. Hillier handballed out the top to Charles. Then he goes further out wide to Hecker. Right foot kick missed the target of Howe and allows Matt Williams to come in, grab it and run over the boundary line for a boundary throw in. On the far side, the Tigers get a chance to reset and take their breath.
I'll tell you what, Morwell's defence is going to sleep well tonight because they're working their backsides off when the ball's inside 50 and they've actually repelled a few chances of Traralgon. the ball comes out and just rebounds straight back in. So they haven't had any time to rest.
Well, at half-time, remembering the inside 50s were 22 apiece, but Traralgon had peppered the scoreboard and more hadn't bothered them too much. We'll update that shortly. The ball out of side of the ground. Will there be a boundary throw-in?
Inside 50s this quarter, favour Traralgon 12-3.
So, and all of those scores, 9 forward entries, and I think 7 behinds from memory, or close to.
6 behinds from 12 forward entries.
I'll get a netball A-grade score for you at the moment. Today it was 1 versus 2 out there on the netball court, so I'll get a score for you in a moment. The Tigers went forward, but Jackson McMahon took the mark. It was the Tigers prevailing in the end on the netball court, 57 to Traralgon's 46, so a good close game there, 1 versus 2 in A-grade netball.
Scuddy's searching far and wide looking for a Tigers win, and he found one. The netball side have won a game. At the moment, the Tigers are in trouble, much like the Tigers were in trouble last night. We didn't really like what we saw last night.
Wilson's on his own.
Not liking a lot of what we see today, but Wilson, who just stood and delivered, and the Traralgon defence had ran off him.
Wow.
Had no one within 25 metres. Now, he can be a little bit hit and miss for goal, but if ever they need a goal, this is the one.
Don't do it. Well, just that's it. Don't say another word, because he was looking to give off. I don't think he was really,
He's given off, and he's put Hillier in all sorts of bother. From outside 50, the ball falls short to 3 Traralgon players. Not sure that was the best option in hindsight, but guess what? We'll never know as Traralgon eased the pressure and worked the ball towards the outer side of the ground.
And Hector was the one who took the mark on his half-back flank, as they've kicked 6 behinds in a row, the Maroons, to start this third quarter. That could have been the one that the Tigers were looking for. Hector has to go backwards to Jackson Hall. Now he's on his defensive 50, right on the top of it. He comes back inboard, and it wasn't 15. The umpire said play on. Ambler had to amble around his opponent and then kick it out wide over the top of White Oak. So Linton was there for the Tigers to grab it. Hamble over the top to Hillier, who took it and then got driven into the ground fairly. The umpire said play on. And now the ball trickles over. We're going to boundary throw in. 18 minutes have gone, and the Tigers are searching for something. They're looking. They can't find anything at the moment, Boxer.
Oh, Daryl, as soon as Nick Wilson marked it, he was looking to give it off straight away. He had no way he wanted to kick that footy. And last week we saw him kick 2 great goals, probably from a similar distance.
Yep. Well, they surge forward, but McMahon gets another touch, and can he find some room to move for his defence? He can, but Abbas is closing in quickly. The big man just strides to get gun position on the ball, but it finds itself over the boundary line. Left half forward flank in front of our TRFM commentary position with Boxer, Scott, Paul Carter and Poppy. And I tell you what, this Morwell side, I don't know if they've kicked a lower score than 1 goal 2 for a while, but I reckon it's been a while, given that the 1 goal was at the 2-minute mark, if you don't mind, of this first quarter of this game. They'll have another go again. This time they'll go through Schneider, and then eventually the player that got the kick forward was Leake. Kicks to within 30. McMahon again gets another touch, and they ease it again, looking for Hector, but Abbas takes the easiest of marks.
Lowers the eyes, chips it, and it lands in the hands of Giath.
Well done by Suda.
Yeah, good protection there, wasn't it, by Suda? He's 55 metres out, so he's too far out to score. He goes short. Rosado goes up and marks, and he'll go back and mark the guy on the mark. He tries to gain another metre. So the guy on the mark will be about 45, which will mean Rosado will have to kick this 50. He's a thumping kick, but just sometimes when he gets extra penetration, it just wobbles left and right. So we'll see how this goes. As 20 minutes have passed.
Well, I hope he doesn't poke at it then.
No, he won't want to. Rosado certainly won't do that. From 50 metres, runs around, and he does. He tries to get the extra distance, not going to make the distance. Abbas is back there, comes to ground level. Hillier tries to handball it out, can't do so, and the umpire will ball it up.
That was a really ordinary run-up, though, by Rosado. I'm not sure what he was doing, but he looked like he had a pitching wedge on his boot, because it went 70 metres high.
There we go.
Snap. Can you believe
from
this?
Hillier.
Hillier snap out of the pack from absolutely nowhere. Traralgon claim they touched it off the boot, but Morwell have kicked their second goal in almost 3 quarters of football. Compliments of a mid-air kick from a pack that evens up this quarter unbelievably.
Wow.
And on the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard, that brings Traralgon's lead back to the to 21 points, which was pretty close to what it was at half-time. Traralgon are 4-11-35. Morwell are now 2-2-14.
Well, right here, right now is a big moment for Monticello's. Peroni Nastro Stubbies at 24.
Oh,
at $38.
A beautiful Italian beer, that
How'd
one.
I go with that? Peroni.
Peroni.
The Captain Morgan Spice Gold at 33 as well. Only at Monticello's. It is a big moment because the Tigers have got their chance and they haven't been in this game at all. And through the middle, here they go. It is Giath running through. Delivery poor. And the kick was a shocker because Yench was on his own. He played on quickly by hands. They got numbers, the Maroons. A quick chain of handballs into McMahon and it's going to be turned over. 3 bites out of it. No, he's going to be paid the mark.
He can't be paid the mark.
Well,
the boundary umpire has to overrule it.
Well, they're not going to.
No,
I think, Poppy.
Well, the boundary umpire has to say to the main umpire, and she hasn't got the confidence.
3 bites.
That it was 3 bites, and the last bite was taken over the line. Easy as that. It's not hard.
Oh, here we go again. Helios puts it on the boot. It's dribbling away over across the face.
I tell you what, Wilson, he just needed 1 yard more pace. I tell you what.
1?
Well, maybe 3. But I reckon he could have found it if there was a pie on the ball because he needed to find 3 or 4 yards. That was the opportunity they had. And it went missing, didn't it? 20 points down. They could have been 14 with a favourable bounce. Traralgon go looking through the corridor. Can they find Stockdale? I reckon it was. So Stockdale just says, listen, boys, just settle a little bit. Just settle. He needs to find a teammate, though, himself. And the kick wasn't as good as it maybe could have been. Anyway, it goes out the back, and White Oak was the first player there. He's beaten to it by the boundary. So left half forward flank, Traralgon into attack. They lead by, as I say, 20 points.
That's Traralgon 4-11-35 to Morwell 2-3-15. McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard, almost 23 minutes played third quarter.
They are Australia's most popular barista-made coffee, only at McCafe. And we got another stoppage on the half back flank now for the Tigers as the Maroons start the press. Up they go again. Musil tapped it down. Broadbent does well though at ground level. Giath trying to work hard to get into this game. Couldn't quite gather the football. Rosado has to do some tackling duties on Musto. And I think I've said that about 15 times today.
Yep.
Rosado and Musto have gone head to head. And they are 2 bulls. Again, it goes up. No one can really win it out except for Leak out the back who kicks around the body. Goes towards the wing area. Hall dropped the mark, but Jacobson was there to help out. Handballs to Thuring. He gets around 1 and then lost the football. That's holding the ball. No advantage will be paid. Great work by Scott, who has it on the wing for the Tigers. Did he take his time? He goes in the Abbas direction. Goes up. Marks it. No, he's been pulled off the football. The umpire said play on. Hall did well. Handballs out the back now towards Johnson. Clearing kick out wide. Scott will reload and go again. Jacobson was there for the Maroons as well. They tackle him and we'll have a ball up just inside the field of play. 60 metres around from the Tigers' goal. 24 minutes gone.
Morwell had last 7 inside 50s.
Well, they got 1 goal. They need to get a bit more reward for their effort. Suter from the stoppage. Gave the handball up. Collison had it there, though. The run from Hall. Drives it to half forward. Jacobson's in the right spot. Marks. That is James from the Tigers. Chips it over the top.
Yeah,
and goes to Noblet.
Off they go. Noblet's got a chance to send the Tigers forward. They come grandstand side where Abbas is presented well. As all the time in the world, he turns onto that right leg and goes towards the corridor. Then he backs himself in, dances around the man on the mark and kicks to within 30 with a tumbling punt that falls short. And now Collison brings the ball out of defensive 50, goes short to Connor Little, who in turn goes short with a poor kick and out of play on the full right in front of the Traralgon box. And Giath takes a resultant free kick. He runs 20 metres, goes short and finds Josh Scott, who really should have eaten that and dropped it, bounced off his chest, gets a second go. He thinks, I stuffed it up once, so why don't I give it to my mate who's under pressure? And that was Charles. The ball bounces out of his hands and now
Hillier
finds
again.
himself within 10 metres of goals.
He's
Traralgon, all of a sudden,
He
could have been under pressure. I think he has missed it, and he got taken late as well. And that's a behind for Morwell.
2-4-16 ball, 4-11-35 Traralgon.
Gee, there's some carnage inside forward 50, boys. There's 2 Tigers down. Hillier and Wilson only just getting up now. Hillier's still down, and Yench was down as well. But the ball's going to come back. Handball over the top. Rosado to Musil. Just got it. Went to ground. Gives up the handball backwards. Back there was Leak. Now it gets back to Scott. Chips it towards the pocket. Mutual has to go, and Jackson Hall was there. Play on, said the umpire. Broadbent will clear and kick and missed the target. Scott was out there as well with Jacobson. We've got a boundary throw in. Hillier in the hands of trainers. Now Jackson Hall gets up a little bit proppy.
Did Hillier faint because he missed that easy goal? Because I'll tell you what, he shouldn't have missed that.
Well, he's down for a long time.
He was.
I
hope he's
don't
all right.
think so.
So Musil gets the tap down. Quick kick forward by the Maroons. The ball finds itself around about left half forward flank. Riley Laprise, first player there. He's outnumbered by Morwell opponents, and they try to get a chain of handballs going, but they can't. Traralgon likewise, but they can't. And yet again, another boundary thrown around about left half forward flank.
Well, Wilson comes off for a spell. Hillier still out on the ground there. Just getting his legs
hit
back.
The wrong spot, I think, there, Darryl.
Just getting his legs back underneath him. I won't go there as taps down. Good work by Collison. Nearly picked off, though, by GF. And then they both roll to the ground. And we'll have a ball up. 26 and a half minutes gone. And that could have been a massive moment of the game going into three-quarter time. 19 points as a margin in favour of Traralgon. Quick kick there from Broadbent towards centre half forward. Riley Lopez overran it. Then Linton sat on it. He's hacked it. He's got the footy still underneath him. And then he showed the umpire that he didn't have it by showing his hands. And lucky he didn't get ping for holding the ball. We've got a ball up right at centre half forward for the Maroons. Here's Rob Popplestone on TRFM.
So let's see if we can't get another one through the big sticks for Traralgon to reward them for the efforts they put into this quarter. Over the top, Collison goes looking for Thuring, finds that player, kicks to the right half forward flank. Yep, teammate, they're in. And they've got a big chance, haven't they, right now through Troy Forrest. He'll kick from inside forward 50, but only just. And then
right on the siren
goes, yeah.
Well, this could be a killer. This could be the killer. Right on the three-quarter time siren. It's 19 points, so it's been reduced from 22 at three-quarter time. But Troy Forrest have got a shot on goal, and the Tiger Juniors behind the crowd are going to get stuck into the fence signing. It's on its way. It's a lovely kick. Has it got the accuracy? Oh, it hit the post.
Third one for the quarter.
The third one for the quarter. There you have it, Paul Carter. 28 minutes have gone on, and that was being the third quarter of the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard.
Traralgon have gone from 4-5-29 to 4-12-36 with 7 straight behinds for that quarter. They lead by 18 points over Morwell, who are 2-4-16.
Well, we've got one to go, and it could be a big finish. It's a great rivalry. Of course, we have 1 quarter to go. Traralgon and Morwell, the Maroons, they lead it by 18 points. Is that correct? No, 20 points. They lead by 20 points at three-quarter time. It is Gippsland Live for Harvey Norman Electrical. Fantastic prices, incredible range. You can rush in store today.
The freshest way to start the day. Gabby and Dan, the TR Morning Crew.
I've never had to use a pickup line, to be honest.
I think when you're flirting with someone, you are subliminally using pickup lines.
I like my ladies like I like my peanut butter.
Oh, God.
Chunky. Do you live in a cornfield? Because I'm totally stalking you. You look like an angel that fell from heaven and then subsequently hit your face on the pavement.
Weekday mornings when you wake up on TRFM.
50 months interest free, no deposit, no interest with 50 equal monthly payments until July.
Three-quarter time, the Maroons, well, they lead it by 20 points, but it's not convincing at the moment. They've had all the play, albeit all sloppy play. They're 4 goals, 12-36. The Tigers are 2-4-16. They had a little bit of a spark in that third quarter. It was the only goal that was kicked, and it was from the Tigers at the 20-minute mark by Tyler Hillier. Had a chance again and missed, and that could have changed things going into this three-quarter time break. Paul Carter, you've been working through the key stats for us there for Gippsland Isuzu Ute.
So once again, inside 50s were equal that quarter, 13 apiece, although it did come in big chunks. Morwell had 10 in a row at one stage there. The clearances went Traralgon's way 11-9. The stat was marks inside 50. Once again, Traralgon took 6 to Morwell's 2, so that's 12-4 there. Dan Musil's had 24 hitouts. Isaac Abath 17 for Morwell, and Will Broadbent 19 for Traralgon. Just the main stat winners to this stage. Mark Collison, another 9 touches that quarter. He has 27 to three-quarter time. Jackson Hall 19, Connor Ambler 18. For Morwell, their leading stat winner is Anthony Rosado with 22, 21 to Coy Jeth, 17 to Dan Musil, and 14 to Tyler Hillier. And yeah, that just about covers it.
Boxer?
Okay, I've got the around the grounds. We'll go to the Gippsland League first. Sale 16-7-103. It's 3-quarter time too. One Thaggy at 5-4-34. So big lead there to Sale. Druin, these are the big movers since half time. A 9-goal quarter. 14-6-90. They lead Maffra 9-8-62.
Wow.
Murray, they still hold a lead there against Leongatha, 8-14. So inaccurate, Murray, 62. They lead Leongatha 6-9-45.
Ooh, close one there.
And Bairnsdale, they are leading 12-5-77. They lead Warrigal 8-9-57.
I reckon one of the teams got all 5 at the moment at 3-quarter time. One of the team.
One of them, yeah. Anyway, your Law North Mid Gippsland Football League 3-quarter time. We have your Law North 8-9-57. They lead comfortably over Moving North 4-4-28. Newborough 3-1-19. They trail Trafalgar 9-6-60. In a close one at Yanar 7-4-46. They trail Morwell East 8-4-52. And Hill End 10-6-66 are comfortable leaders over Ballara 3 straight 18.
Well, Poppy, we got this last quarter underway. Of course, give you a chance to change your tips. Poppy and Paul, you've both gone with Traralgon. Want to change?
No, I don't want to change. I just want the game to end because it hasn't reached any lofty heights whatsoever. The only thing that can make this interesting is if Morwell grab the first couple of goals and we've got a game in our hands, that might make an interesting finish to what has been a disappointing display for a crucial game. Here we go, bounce down.
Well, there it is. No one can really win it out. Tigers try to rush away forward. The Maroons were good with their defence. Snyder nearly got away with it. Abbas is doing the ruck duties in the middle with Broadbent. And they'll do this one again. Just forward to centre. Bass got his hand on it. Goes backwards. Now he has to pick it up and handball out to the run. It goes towards Hecker and Hillier. Hecker did well. So does Hillier again. Swooped on it. Handball out to Scott. Goes backward to Rosado. Squares the kick up to Leake. Jacobson will close and with a good spoil and kept his feet. That's Jacobson from Traralgon. Now Leake closes, but he got a hand away to Jacobson. To Hall, who got crunched. Handball to Riley Lopez. Into Broadbent. Chips a kick inside 50, and it might get there. No, Lee Stockdale dropped it. Great work by James Jacobson for the Tigers. Linton to Rosado. Now Giath just fumbled it, and Ambler now for the Maroons. Did the don't argue, coughed the footy up. The Tigers are away.
They are. Let's see if we can clear it through Schneider. Schneider from just inside the square kicks to within 30 metres of Morwell's goals. Traralgon lead the way there, an unfavourable bounce, but it still falls the way of Traralgon. But Musil comes from nowhere, gives back to Schneider, who followed the ball well, and then he's kicked
over the back.
Went over the back of the pack. The first player there will be Josh Scott, who's got time to try to swing it around on the left foot. But he too is offline, a minor score, the first of the last quarter, and they edged to within 19 points in the opening minutes of this crucial game.
Morwell 2-5-17, Traralgon 4-12-36, Turnbull's Gippsland scoreboard.
Well, the kick in will go out towards Thuring, who can mark on his chest, 48 metres from his goal. Chips it over the top, found Ambler. He can go further afield if he wants. Jacobson was there, waits and waits and waits. He was still there. Decides to stop. Now he's been called to play on. Finds the target in Lee Stockdale. 45 kick was okay. Lee Stockdale will go sideways again. Just the required 15 to McMahon. Musto presents. So's Ambler on the wing. No one really wants to get this game moving too quickly at the minute, as McMahon just drives it down the line to Broadbent. And Abbas will spoil. Broadbent followed up nicely. Handball towards the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in. 2 minutes in, I just sensed that moment a couple of moments ago where Scott ran in was the big chance they needed for Monticello's.
Yeah, they needed the fast start, you'd expect, but there's still plenty of time. We've got 25 minutes to kick 4 goals. Seen it done before, haven't we? We've seen it done within the space of 4 minutes this season already, but they're not likely at the moment from what we've seen today. They basically need to kick twice the amount of goals they've kicked to date in 20 minutes than they have in 70. So I wouldn't be putting $1 each way in it. It's possible. But you're not having my money. Abbas gets a tap down. Ambler, first player there. Giath at the bottom of the pack also. He's held down by Ben Johnson. And the umpire central will ball this up. And it can be contested between Abbas and Broadbent. Kick off the ground by Jacobson. Goes to within 40. They ran over it around about half forward flank. I thought there was a push in the back. Jacobson, who can normally use the ball well, does. Play-on's the call. I tell you what, I thought there was a free kick there. It was Dylan Lepraise. Riley Lepraise probably spent a little bit too much time over the ball when he should have kicked quickly. Doing just that was Riley Laprise again, whose left foot kick hits a post and goes out of play on the full.
I'll just quickly go around the grounds for Harvey Norman Furniture. In the AFL, the second of the coach curses continued, where Carlton, they got up over the Brisbane Lions, and nearly the Brisbane Bears, 11-12-78 to 9-9-63.
Well, I reckon they might sack someone every week then.
Yeah, they might as well. Lygon Street will be going off tonight.
Well, Traralgon have got this footy at the wing area. Connor Ambler is the one.
And Laprezi will go as well.
As Ambler kicks it out wide. Found Williams out there. That's Matt Williams on the far side of the ground here at the showgrounds. Riley Laprezi lead presents. Abbas got pushed out of it, and Broadbent, no, there's a push. It will go towards Abbas, and he's just dumped him. And that is stupid play by Isaac Abbas. He had the free kick. He dumped Dylan Lopez, and the ball will be reversed, and Lopez will have a shot on goal.
So
and
I'm guessing Abbas comes off in a minute.
Yep, you would expect that, or you'll get a serving by the runner as Dylan Lopez will come in, and this could just about seal it. That's how crucial it is. Puts it to the hot spot. Big fly, the ball in dispute, top of the square. Wide open, they head over the footy. Handballs backwards from Abbas. They want to rush this over to the Tigers. They get it in the end. And a minus score. And that is on the McDonald's Gippsland scoreboard.
They go short through Jaya. Sorry, Paul Carter.
4-13-37 to Morwell 2-5-17.
So that margin of 20 points. Jyath goes short. He finds a teammate in Leek.
Oh.
No, he doesn't. The kick was poor, and Leek wasn't up to it, and he gets told about it as well.
And the red caboose just give him a bit of advice after a couple of bevies on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it's a clash of the orange boots inside forward 50.
You reckon they said nice try? Good effort, young bloke.
I don't reckon. Your dad wears army boots. Ball thrown back in. Nicely done. Collison takes the ball beautifully. A kick around the body to within 10 metres at the top of the square. But marking it nicely was James Jacobson, senior. Comes grandstand side to Schneider. I thought taken off the ball illegally by Lee Stockdale. That's not the way the umpire saw it. So there'll be a boundary throw in behind. There's two players still going for it in the infamous clash of the orange boots.
There's a free kick going away with Judah Leak, so he was coming off, and you're exactly right, you were spot on. And Judah Leak did win himself that free kick. He squares it up inboard to Hecker. He's on the half-back flank area, is Hecker. He's just having the slow approach, chips it over the top to Giath.
Nice.
Yeah, good elevation, nearly sold the handball to a Traralgon opponent, and then takes off and runs away. Handballs in towards Hecker, has to get on the boot quickly, does so. Howes back there for the Tigers. Good work there by Jackson Hall. Gave it to a teammate in Barnes, put him under a little bit of pressure. Now Hector does well, got his kick away. Thuring was there for the Maroons. Do they relieve pressure? They do. Jackson Hall got a kick away and got it out towards Ambler and Little. Kennedy will close quickly and cause the stoppage. So good work by the Tiger there.
They have indeed. They've done well to keep that ball inside their forward 50, I've got to say. Doing okay. So they're still 75 metres from home. We've played 7 minutes of the final quarter. Ball throw down. Musil gets the tap. Collison gets another touch. Gives ground, keeps possession. McMahon, he's been good as well. Kick was risky. Found Jackson Hall. They go from one side of the ground to the other. Switch play nicely. And now it's going to be Hayden Hector who takes the mark. They've had 4 or 5 touches, but they're still inside their defensive 50. Now they break through towards the outer side. They've got some room to move too. A long kick needs to be accurate, and it is. But has it got enough length? It has. It needs some Traralgon players to lend support, and it's not there just at the minute. Coming in late was Wilson Gordian, and all players are beaten to the ball by the boundary. Right half forward flank, Traralgon kicking to the grandstand. In fact, kicking to the scoreboard end and leading by 20 points.
8 minutes have gone in this final quarter. Big moments for Monticello's this afternoon. The Tigers have only managed 2. They got their backs against the wall, but they win the stoppage through Hecker towards half forward. Rosado goes up, can't mark. Hillier at ground level, kick around his body, over the top. McDonald goes back. The contest nearly occurred. Rosado did well. Handball across now to Suter, gathers it, comes back inboard, gets a handball to Snyder. They should have some numbers. The kick over the top of the head. Kennedy has to work hard with Little closing. Kennedy and Little. Little gets the front spot now, taps it. Kennedy tries to work him off it. Great one-on-one. They go to ground. Kennedy stands up in a tackle, and then the Maroons jump on him, drive him into the ground. We'll have a ball up, and the two boys in Connor Little and Kennedy are absolutely stuffed. 8.5 minutes gone. 20 points is the margin.
I don't reckon I could have described it any better because those two players fought with everything they've got. Now first player there is going to be Hecker again. He's going to be taken ball and all by a few players, one of which was Ewan Williams, another was Mark Collinson. So just short of right half forward. Morwell into attack, desperate to get another major on the scoreboard, but it's going to be hard work. Musil a quick kick around the corner. This is going to threaten forward 50 without busting the line, and coming in nicely was Chris Thuring. He takes another grab and then goes short, as he does tend to do through Ambler. Ambler goes inboard, so he's given up 15 metres and finds the big fella there in Hall. Hall gives ground to Johnson. Johnson, they squeeze it out to the outer side of Traralgon before they come inboard, and they find a leading Hayden Hector.
Hector kicks it out wide. Presenting there was Forrest, and goes up and marks. Nicely done there for the Traralgon small forward. He gets calls to play on. He comes inboard to Ambler, who gave it back to him, who ran on. So Forrest now, half forward flank, wobbly kick inside forward 50, goes through the hands of Linton. Collison swoops on it.
Goal.
He's a lovely field kick. Collison puts it on its way, and it hits the behind post. Out of bounds on the full, can you believe it?
They need to go now, Maul. Go.
Here we go. Abbas comes on to the ground from the boundary. He was never going to go that distance. Abbas is just hoping that the ball spills over the top. It won't. Traralgon have got too many numbers, one of which will be Johnson goes in ball. Can he find Hector? He can't. Hector can find the ball, but he's found trouble at the same time. Compliments of some Hecker pressure. He tries to get past Thuring. He does.
Well.
Gives to Giath. Giath runs 10, kicks 45, looking for the advantage of Howe. He's got a contest because he needs to beat Jackson Hall, more experienced. He gets a favourable bounce, but then Hall gets him and ball and takes him over the boundary line. Boundary throw in front of the deck. That at the moment holds about 100 past players of the Traralgon Footy Club, who would be needing a beer after watching 3.5 quarters of average like football.
Ball comes back into play. 11 minutes gone. Last quarter. Busting his way through was Musto. Squeezed to Hamble out the back to Hall. He's done this on occasions this afternoon, but there's no one out on the far side. It's all the Tigers. Musil's got all the time in the world. He slips over and then taps it out. Hutchison has to pick it up. Doesn't do so the first time. Now they go to ground, and I don't know why a couple of guys are slipping over out there. We've had no rain on a Saturday afternoon.
I reckon there's a few tired legs and bodies out there.
Yep.
I mean, they've ran hard and tried hard, but, you know, it's they're giving all they got, some of these players. Probably none more so than this bloke, Collison, who will he get another touch or is he taking someone high?
He's been pinged for a high don't argue it was, which was tough.
So Rosado gets a resultant kick and comes grandstand side. No, the umpire brings it back because there's a blood rule, and I reckon Collison, who's arguing with the umpire about whether he took someone high, he said, I've got the blood.
That's right,
and I've given away the free kick.
To don't argue, that'd be like Dusty Martin does about 10 times a game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
So he didn't do it last night, but that's okay.
So Rosado's actually holding his head as well, and Collison's got blood. So I might assume there could have been a head clash.
We'll call it that.
As opposed to a high don't argue. But anyway, Noblet had the free kick. He drives a wobbly one to the top of the 50. Abbas will have to fly. In the front spot was Hall. Now GS squeezed. Amble out to McDonald. Right foot kick to the hot spot.
Oh.
Could this be a good Hillier? No, kept it skinny. And in the end, it's a minor score. As they play on quickly, it's a 19-point margin to Traralgon.
And Hector is on the end of that, and they go towards the outer side. First player there will be Riley Laprise, or They go inside the corridor. Can they find a teammate wearing the maroon and white? They cannot. So the boundary... Oh, in fact, the central umpire's called a free kick. And is that Suter?
Yep.
Yes, it is. From outer side of the ground towards left half forward flank. Again, it spills over the back. This time, it'll be Riley Laprise who goes short, and off they go again. The Maroons have just been breaking down a roundabout here. This time they'll bust through forward 50, or will they? No, they threaten it before Musil cuts it off. Quick handball to Siddle. Siddle dances around 1 and 2, and
good kick.
His kick is a nice one.
Well, they can get the switch if they can. Suter ran onto this one, gave it nicely to Hecker. Hecker swings around right foot, centre half forward, poor kick. Thurring dropped the mark he should have taken, but he got his handball away to Jacobson. Now his kick, top of the 50 they go. Noblet will fly and spoil. Linton was the support for the Tigers, and now the Tigers go back. It's being played inside the top of the 50s. Leak drives it inside. Hall will go back with a flight on his own and mark it. And the Tigers need to lower their eyes if they go inside forward 50 again. They've succumbed to that all afternoon. Jackson Hall's touches, Paul Carter.
Jackson Hall, that's 7 this quarter for 26.
26, and I reckon he's had 26 intercept marks.
So they go short now through Thurring. Giath on the mark. Thurring just sums up his options. Doesn't normally go long, but he will on this occasion. Not sure. I guess Collison was the target. He got hands to it, that's for sure. Coming into Lender hand. It'll end up in the hands of Stockdale. His searching handball fell to Abbas. Abbas found a teammate in Hillier who had no chance, I didn't think, to get rid of that ball, but the free kick will be given nonetheless to Traralgon, and they'll find Laprise, who's marked strongly in front of Siddle. He's still 75 metres from goal. He plays on to Collison. Collison kicks to within 40, and I reckon they might mark here. Certainly they should have. Broadbent dropped what he should have taken, and the umpire's called a mark.
Yeah, he had 2 bites at that.
He come off his shin the third time.
Okay.
Not the ground.
It was shin, not the ground. Yep.
Okay, so fortuitously, Will Broadbent will have an opportunity for his first goal of the afternoon. And can you believe this? In 120 minutes almost of footy, just the 7th goal of the game. From 45 metres, the kick distance, no problem. The accuracy, guess what? Same as usual.
A problem.
Pulled it left.
Yep. And it's one of those things where they've just, both sides have missed opportunities they should have grabbed as well. But, the key influence of this game is Mark Collison. He has been a real linchpin for Traralgon today.
Kick in out of full-back. They play on. They got over back. Linton did well. Took the mark. He's on the half-back flank now for the Tigers. Kicks it towards the half-forward line. One-on-one. It is Giath and Thurring. Giath worked his player underneath it. Then handball. Will he go over the top? He does, but it's just to the wrong side. Crashed his way through as Hector goes to ground. Pressure comes on. Maroons are up to it. McMahon squeezes a handball across to Barnes. Inboard. Good tackle from Suter on Hector. Hillier at ground level. Got tackled when he didn't have the football. Again, Thurring does well. Tries to tap it out. Ball just comes back to him somehow. And now he has to go again. And the umpire said we'll ball it up. 16 minutes gone. It's a 20-point margin, as it was at three-quarter time. All that effort for nothing at all.
You're asking about Jackson Hall. 12 marks today.
Unbelievable.
Good effort. Abbas, quick tap down. Searches for Howe. Can't find that player. He butters up with another second good effort and holds the ball in play.
So it wasn't 26 marks like Darryl thought it was? No? Okay. Yep.
I was just emphasising the point that it was a lot.
It was a lot. There's no question about that. He's been very good. Scud busts them out.
Oh, good grab by Judah. Leak going back with courage. He gets up, plays on quickly. Gets around Hector now. He has to get around a couple. Gets a handball away towards Musil. He gave it by hand to Linton. Good kick to Howe. Hits him on the chest. 70 metres out from goal. Howe looks to square it up. It's going to be a dangerous kick. Noblet up to the task. Scott was there. Quick tackle there from Johnson. And, well, I guess at this stage you've got to take a few little risks going inside forward 50, but we're going to ball up. Half forward flank build up for the Tigers. Abbas tapped it down, but out the back was Hector for the Maroons. Kicked it to the open space. Wide Oak is there with Johnson. Jacobson it is. He did well, Jacobson, and then coughed up the football. Wide Oak again. Kicks high. Musil spoils. Siddle's back there for the Tigers, and they clear it out.
They do. He burst through defensive 50. The kick was nice. The mark should have been taken. They'll get a second chance, and they'll do that, the Tigers, and come grandstand side through Howe. Little fella, 28, playing his first senior game with possession, probably dozen and a half. Kicks along the line to Abbas. He takes his Traralgon opponent high and will get a free kick paid against him. Abbas plays for the free kick and falls down. He was probably trying to do what happened to him over the other side of the ground. It doesn't quite work. His acting was quite good, mind you.
Poppy.
Sidney Poitier-like.
Poppy, how do you get 12 and a half possessions?
A dozen and a half, like a dozen and a, so it's 18 I meant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you meant 12.5.
Well, the kick there is going to be picked off again. The Tigers will go forward. They've got all the play, and again, they go to the top of the 50. No one can really mark it. Hecker was there. So was McMahon for the Maroons. Stockdale to Thurring. His kick again will be turned over, and Howe is starting to work his way nicely into the game.
Yeah, good second quarter, finishing off with a good fourth quarter. He goes inboard. Can he find a teammate flying high on that occasion by Morwell, but not taking the mark? And it'll be Traralgon through Ambler, who kicks for touch and will probably find it, I think, a tumbling ball. Ames falls through the feet of the coach, McGibney. The first player there for Morwell was James Jacobson. The ball will be thrown in right in front of our commentary position. And Musil gets a quick tap forward, nicely done. Gains 30 metres. First player there will be Hillier. He dances around one, but he's beaten to the boundary and a late tackle as well. And they work through for a ball in.
Well, time is against them now. 20 minutes have gone. Maroons are hanging on, 20-point margin. Poppy's seen a fan in the stands, wants to give him a wave. Musto from that stoppage, quick kick. Riley Lopez is there, gets around his tackler, blazes it away inside forward 50. Whiteoak's got a little bit of toe. Worked off the football by Charles, and just out of the field of play. Right in front of the red caboose. Puts bar down there at the scoreboard into the ground. The Maroons are holding on. 20 points at the moment. 20 points, and that is at the 20-minute mark of this last quarter. Front spot was Broadbent. Tried to pick it off was Jacobson. Goes to ground. Again, Collison goes in. Looking for the boundary. Finds it. And we'll have a boundary throw in again.
So 55 metres out from Traralgon goals, kicking to the scoreboard end, leading 4 goals 14 to 2 goals 6. That scoreboard probably a reflection of the play in general, as they have another shot for goal. Guess what? I reckon they've kicked the ball out of bounds 5 times today as well.
A few words between the boundary umpire and the coaching staff on the Traralgon bench there, and just been told to move back behind the line.
As they should be. Give the umpire a little bit of room to move.
I'll debate it though.
Thanks, Boxer. Great special comment.
That's
good
okay.
kick.
Nice kick by Jayath. Goes inboard to find Hecker. Hecker now has a chance. He comes towards the right half-forward flank. A Bass was his target. But a good strong mark by Gavin Stevenson. Changes direction. Goes back within the corridor. The player that he's found there, I reckon it could have been
Yench.
Barnes or Yench. Yench it was. And they go towards the outer side of the ground with a little bit of room to wiggle. That player was kind of little. And he find a teammate. Well, he should have. The kick wasn't as good as it could have been. They'll take 2 on it. Despite some late pressure, it goes inside forward 50 now, and the mark's been taken by Ambler, possibly. It's not, but he'll kick towards the top of the square. Laprise stands, delivers, and puts a little cherry on top of this game for the home side.
Yeah, this will be the one. And it hasn't been in doubt, really, let's be honest. The Tigers have, well, they've had a bit of football in this last quarter, but haven't threatened at all and haven't taken their chances when they've gone inside. And now Dylan Laprise will come in. How was that, Boxer?
Beautiful.
He
I
likes
love
it.
it. I love
I'm not
it.
sure it's correct, but anyway, we'll stick with it.
Well, we can find out.
So Dylan Lopez will come in about 15 metres out and slam this one home. And this rivalry game at the Traralgon Showgrounds, it all done and dusted. And Lopez becomes the first multiple goal scorer for the afternoon.
He was probably the only forward there that stood his ground. The ball just cleared the pack and he was in the right spot. It was a good contested mark in the end as well, and a good finish as well.
And the Turnbull's Gippsland scoreboard sees Traralgon end a run of 9 successive behinds with that goal, taking them to 5-14-44. It's a 26-point lead over Morwell, who are 2-6-18, and we've played 22 and a half minutes this quarter, and the other quarters have gone about 26.
Morwell's second half's been pretty good, Darryl. I think it was an improvement from the first half. I think anything could have improved it, but they've just missed their chances.
Increased by 6 points.
Yeah, they've just missed their chances.
Yeah.
So
the ball's bounced down. Usil gets a nice tap. Traralgon come forward again. They'll be looking just to get another score or 2 on the board, given that every single goal will count, given the evenness of this competition. Goes towards right half forward flank. Collison and Jacobson run into each other. Guess what? Collison wins, kicks to within 20 and finds the man again. If it's not one, it's the other. It's a double Laprise act in this final quarter.
It's too much tongue.
Laprise.
Boxer, give us this call, mate. Over to you.
Laprise. So we've got Leprese, who's probably...
Can you do it in Italian for us?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to try that one.
Leprese will kick from Trentacinque. He's looking for Sette, and he finds Sette.
And if you say the name right, they get the goal right as well. So well done, Poppy. Great call. And it's a back-to-back for the Leprese. It doesn't matter who it was. Well done.
Yeah, good effort by Traralgon. All of a sudden, the dying minutes of this game, Paul Carter.
Taking it out to a 32-point margin, 24 minutes played. Turnbull's Gippsland scoreboard. Traralgon 6-14-50. Morwell 2-6-18.
Just a quick message of concern to an former TRFM boundary rider in Matt Jones. He probably needs to wear a hat these days, Matty. So hopefully for family members listening, if you make sure he packs some sunscreen.
I really like what he's doing, where he shaves the two sort of patches on either side of his head at the back there. Really like what he's done there. Traralgon have been good. Collison's probably been the best on ground for Gippsland. Isuzu. He just got dumped in the tackle, but they go away, and a big don't argue there from the ruckman. Broadbent delivers inside 50, over the top of the head it goes. Jacobson's back there for the Tigers. James spins around one, then coughs the footy up. The Traralgon Maroons are there. Stockdale loves these, and all of a sudden... No, we haven't. I thought we had 3 goals within 3 minutes. It's a minor score. And that is on your Turnbull's Gippsland scoreboard.
6-15-51 Traralgon, 2-6-18 Morwell.
So Noblet will be the one to bring it back in for the Tigers. Time just about done here on a Saturday afternoon. It's been a beautiful day, but the football hasn't emulated that. Clears the pack. Yench is there. Drives it back to the top of the 50. Lee Stockdale marks it, can turn and go. No one's on him. Gets to the 50. Handball over the top to Gordian. Gordian will snap around the body. And another minor score. Paul Carter.
6-16-52 on the Turnbull's Gippsland scoreboard. 34-point leaders over Morwell, 2-6-18.
No breeze, no wind. Beautiful conditions.
I was thinking before.
No skills.
We'll look back at these scores in about 10 years' time and think what a horrible day it must have been.
Yeah, it must have been absolutely pelting down in Traralgon on that day. Ball, compliments of a 65-metre torpedo, comes back to within the centre of the ground. A Bass grabbed the ball. His legs were taken from below him. Collison fights hard to grab the ball out. Nicely done by Hall. A quick reflex handball to McMahon, who'll go 1-2 with Ambler, then go short and find a teammate. And all of a sudden, Traralgon have started to find their mojo in the dying minutes of this clash.
Yeah, it's far too easy. The Tigers have put it in the rack as Will Kennedy comes off with a little bit of claret after a Bass had his legs taken out from underneath him. And Troy Forrest will go back and look to get Traralgon's 7th goal. It's a 34-point margin now, and it could get out to 40 as Forrest kick goes across the face, not going to make the distance. Big fly, Dan Musil. Probably the Tigers' best, you think?
I agree totally.
Although that handball to Lopez, it was a poor one. Now Wido gives it back to Forrest. He can have another shot. Decides to pass it off, and Lee Stockdale takes the mark 40 metres out.
I'm putting this down as a goal.
Are you really?
Yep.
Well, you just did.
Did you want to have a little bit of a side bet on this one?
Yeah, happy to.
Lee Stockdale, I prefer him kicking around his body from having set shots, but takes no time on the boundary line, and Poppy... No good.
You owe me again.
So it's a minor score to finish it up here at Traralgon, and probably that's fitting on a day where they kick 6 goals, 17-53. They've defeated the Tigers 2-6-18. A disappointing Tigers for me, and just a shocking game of football, to be honest. However, the Maroons won't care because they have 2 wins in a row, and all of a sudden their season is just back on track a little bit. They built themselves up for this 3-game block. They dropped the first one that they really wanted to get at Bairnsdale, and then of course they took on Warragul, and they got the job done there, and then they've knocked off the Tigers. So not big scalps, but it could just be enough to get their season started.
Yeah, no question about that. Needed absolutely desperately, because if you have a look ahead, the road doesn't get any easier from Traralgon from memory.
Yeah, they've got Warragul next week, Poppy, I think.
I don't reckon they have.
They've already played Warragul.
Yeah, so...
Oh, what they have, sorry.
Yep. So I reckon that...